hello YouTube, greetings from the Lazy Eyebrow to the second and I think last of these, hello you'd call this a podcast thing, that with our TF reviewers group. Sorry, I'm really terrible at unscripted things. So, anyways, I'm hosting. This is all put on by Anthony at HNE Games, and just to preface this, we will be taking comments, and anyone that puts a super chat will get theirs displayed on screen pretty much instantly. And take it away, Anthony.
Okay, so I'm Anthony from #net, HNE Games. If you have a question, feel free to tag me, and I'll try to incorporate into whatever topic we're discussing or a future one. So first, we're going to start off by introducing everybody that's here, starting with George from the Lazy Eyebrow. Go ahead and tell everybody how they can find you. Obviously, most of them are probably already found you, but, in social media and stuff.
So, I'm George from the Lazy Eyebrow. Most of you don't even know my first name, apparently, and that's always seems to be a shock. But if you're watching it here, you've already found me, like Anthony said, but you can find me on the Discord at, I can't remember the invite name, but it's on my Twitter as a pinned comment, which is at Lazy Eyebrow. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, again, at Lazy Eyebrow. Okay,
Crimson, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel, please.
Oh, yeah.
I'm CrimsonRaptors. You can find me on YouTube, where I have stop motion animations. I do reviews. I do unboxings. I do some reviews for the latest Siege and upcoming Earthrise review show as well. I also am on Instagram, where I post pictures, but I haven't done anything for this year, so I'm sorry, but those pictures are coming soon. And I also do on Twitter. I use it for literally almost nothing, but I did post about the live stream kind of, Transformers Reviewers group night #2, and that got a lot of steam because I hadn't posted on Twitter, and I don't know, since last year. So that was really cool to see that. And again, that's CrimsonRaptors. That's Crimson like the dark red color, Raptors, RAPTORS. And Anthony, who's the next person? Because I forgot.
Enewtabie, Danny. Danny's first. Alphabetical order, man.
Yeah, and Danni Dolphin. That's Danny with an DANNI Dolphin on YouTube. There you can find reviews, toy hunts, just kind of some discussion videos, stuff like that. Some live streams, hangouts, and then my best other place is Instagram. It's OMG DANNI Dolphin, and they're mostly my toy pickups and some other stuff. So those are the safest places to find me on the internet, I always say.
Okay, Enewtabie, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Enewtabie. I do Transformers, Star Wars, third party, you name it, Legends. I'm one of the Rejecticons along with Kato's Collection, Larkin's Lair and Sardo, Noomspy 82. I have to look this up. I'm on Twitter as CollectE. I'm on Instagram as Enewtabie_collects. Who thought of this crap? These terrible names. Yeah, that's where you can find me. God, what was I thinking?
Okay, Dennis, go ahead.
Okay, so if you look up GotBot, you'll find me pretty much everywhere. My Twitter, I don't know, I think that's Dennis Moulton 1, I think. I don't know. I think my Instagram, which I created when I done my first book, I think that's actually Dennis_Moulton_author, which was done when I, done my first book. There's the GotBot Facebook page. I mod min a bunch of groups. Honestly, if you just look up GotBot, you'll find me. I'm a pretty easy dude to find. And basically for everything else in the description of literally everything I do, you'll find the links for all that. Transformers reviews, stop motions, not the least of which is Universal Collision. Countdowns, the weekly countdown list. Right now we're working on the top 10 Soundwaves. That'll come up Monday. The Thursday night live show, and that's usually where I do my rants, and either you love them or you hate them.
Can I just say, Dennis, how casual you're looking tonight? Man,
he always is.
Brother, first of all, I'm on bed, so that's how casual I am. Secondly, now that we're here, George Adam wanted me to specifically, when I was speaking to you, say thank you again from him. And thirdly, you're my hero. Your next tutorial got to be how you make things defy gravity, brother. I'm just saying.
You know, it's funny. Before you popped on, George was actually telling us how he could not wait to have you on this panel. So some mutual admiration there.
You know what's really funny? I mean, George isn't going to know this. I don't say. Oh, you might. I have followed him since long before he left the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Long before the birth of, I don't remember your second daughter's name. Riley?
Oh, nice. Way to go.
Long before that. So I'm one of the old school guys that followed that whole storyline, the whole way through, all of the ordeals the whole way through, the podcast when you were driving across, the end of the channel, the revival of the whole thing, man.
My word.
This is a treat for me.
Now I feel weird.
He's a fanboy. Okay.
Yeah, we've been stalking you a long time, Lazy.
A long time, man. Yeah.
Dennis,
Okay.
I've known about you since Chilliwack Prime. He was a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Chilliwack. That's awesome.
Plus, we have another connection, Cardboard Bots. You're a good friend of his, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, Input. You're next.
Hey everyone, my name's Input. That's N-PUT, toy reviews and stop motions. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter under Ernest P. World, just like the guy who saved your childhood, my childhood, a few adulthoods, teenagehoods with a bottle of Miak. And that's Miak, people, not milk. Okay, let's get this straight. You guys can also find me on the Tales from Teletran podcast over on my channel every Saturday night from the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time. And that also includes CrimsonRaptors, Danni Dolphin, and Roland Redneck Reviews. And on my channel as well, you guys can catch the continuation of Generation 1 in glorious stop motion with Season 5 that is currently being released and worked on and everything else. And Season 4 just dropped about Episode 4 dropped about 2 weeks ago. That's where you guys can find me.
Okay. So on NinjaBill and Soundwave 8084 are kind of late arrivals, so we'll get to them when they pop up. Up next is TFFanGeek.
Hey guys, this is the TFFanGeek. That's short for Transformers Fan Geek. It's not Fang Eek like someone incorrectly named me one day. I mean, I don't think I have any fangs. Yeah. But
No,
you guys
see
can
then. Sorry.
Yeah. You guys.
I didn't see it till you mentioned it, honestly.
I'm sorry. No, but you guys can find me here on YouTube. You can also find me on Discord. You can also find me on the fan-based Transformers website, TFW2005.com. I'm not on social media. I've never really liked using social media. Partially it's because a relative of mine was stalked by an online stalker one time, so I've been very cautious about not avoiding using Facebook and Twitter, so that's why I'm strictly on YouTube, in case any of you guys didn't know. So yes, that's pretty much where you can find me. YouTube is my go-to website on the internet.
Okay. And again, I'm Anthony from HashLishNet. Everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's all HashLishNet. And so before we begin, I wanted to mention that our TR reviewers page on YouTube is very close to getting 100 subscribers. So if you could subscribe to that, because I believe once I get to 100, I can actually create a username. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to everybody here because you need to. Some of these people actually live on YouTube. This is like, because they need those subscribes. It's how they, yes.
Hey, speaking of that, Anthony, I really wanted to, just the first 5 minutes in here, and I just topped over 400 subscribers.
Nice.
And I really appreciate that you barely even heard me speak, and that means a lot to me. So let's do that for everybody too, not just me, not just Lazy, because we're all here because of Lazy, right?
Right?
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure, thanks.
Making dreams come true.
Life finds a way.
Okay, so to explain the process today, we target 90 minutes. As of last time, we did go longer. We might go longer today. We'll find out. Once we dwindle the numbers, we may switch to a Q&A format. Again, George, actually his wife is moderating, so anything questionable will be removed. George will pick any comments that he likes, throws them on screen. Don't forget, you can super chat or basically just throw money at him. So that's all perfectly fine, and it will pop on screen. And,
I'm not saying no.
And if you once we start discussing the first topic, you can start at HNE Games, and I will add any relevant questions to the queue. So let's see. After the 90 minutes, we'll start wrapping up. Everybody will introduce themselves again, and Wifey 93 is George's wife, by the way.
And I'm just going to say I didn't know about her profile picture, but it's my little Ravage, and I'm going to say that's awesome.
So because of the moderation, questions are limited to every 30 seconds, and hopefully everybody enjoys what they see today. So our first topic is, and if you watched the last stream, we are covering some of the same topics, but keep in mind that we have multiple stop motion animators in this particular panel, so we will be covering that topic a little bit later. So starting with George, we're gonna go with the topic being War for Cybertron quality control design and official licensing. So George, tell us what your opinion is on this specific topic.
It's garbage. Next person. Quality control has been getting worse and worse lately. A few people say it's because they moved to Vietnam. I don't know if that is the case or not. It could also be why things are the way they are in terms of early reviews because the factory's moved. I've heard that opinion as well. I don't know, so I'm not going to fully comment on it. Just touch on it. But I've noticed in my own personal collection, quality control is getting garbage. I've had to fix more things often than not. I've seen other people's videos having to fix more things often than not. And I'm just not happy in the direction it's been going.
Okay. That was... I was expecting something a little bit longer, because you made a video about collected issues.
I did, brilliant. And I guess... I don't know, I guess this is new people watching sometimes, too. It's just... I kind of said everything last time.
Okay, it's fine.
Kind of more of the same. It's garbage. What more do you want me to say?
Okay, Crimson, your opinion.
So, I would say it's not necessarily because of the Vietnam factories. Transformers have been made in Vietnam for quite some time, so that really wouldn't be the issue. The issue is pretty much kind of what happened last year with kind of the hate plague, right? Or our own little Transformer in-joke for that. I don't know if that was good, but that was bad. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. But I do Tales from Teletran on Saturday, but when I come on here, I don't know what's going on.
It's adorable.
Seriously, like, so I'll say stuff like, you'll have people that have, they're out because they're sick and stuff, right? So they have a limited amount of factory workers, and they're doing what they can. The problem is, last we knew, and I think this was during Combiner Wars, that they only have 11 minutes to assemble a Transformer figure. Now, I think that was a deluxe, not a Voyager, but they have 11 minutes total factory time. That's taking it off the sprue, getting the part cleaned up, then putting it all together, and then it gets to somebody else who puts it in the package. So that's not a lot of time if you really think about 11 minutes and trying to assemble this whole, actually I think the parts are disassembled. So I'm going to take that back. But anyway, that's still not a lot of time. And so they can't sit there and transform back and forth, right? So they get them in bot mode, they don't transform them, they throw them in there because they're not in vehicle mode anymore like they used to be. So they don't have to transform them. And I think that is probably more of that cause because limited factory time, they can't just go back and say, okay, they just pick like maybe one out of every 20, maybe one out of every 50 because there's so few workers. But yeah, I mean, I've run into some QC issues. Earthrise Rc, a great example of a horrible toy that wasn't a good upgrade to what we got with the Thrilling 30 RC. And I went through 3 different cogs, 3 different of my own cog figures to get the right tabs that will fit on her back so she can do what she does in the show. with cog on the back. 3 different cogs to get that Earthrise RC to work. That's not the fault of the cog. That's fault of Earthrise RC.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Danny, quality control, design, and official licensing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot. I'm usually pretty good with my figures. Like, I don't see a lot of QC issues, but the Earthrise stuff, I so noticed it. Like, even my G2 Megatron's got loose arms. One arm pops off all the time. I usually never have issues. Like, Input's always telling me his never-ending story of QC issues. The figures ride with no head and such. But, I just noticed it in this Earthrise line the most. Like, I was shocked at how bad they are, because I'm usually in denial, and I'm really, like, kind of bobble-headed and like dumb, so like I can't fix my toys. I either donate them when they're missing or broken, or I just smash it with a mallet and buy another one.
Wow.
That's
Do you at least put it in a box and then put it inside another box and mail it to yourself before you smash it with that hammer?
No, I should. No, I just, like I said, like my mom, she's in mental health and healthcare stuff, so she knows a lot of like kids that don't have a lot. So I'll donate my stuff once in a while. But it's just, if I get mad at the toy, like I open out the package, it heads like my Run Amok or the white one, whichever. I've had so many issues with that one. I never have really any issues. Like I said, I've always had pretty good luck, but yeah.
I'm sure it's cathartic to take your anger out on the toy, but I mean, like,
yeah.
After you do that, you should contact Hasbro about it and then send it back and just
see. I should be Lazy Dolphin because I would never call. You know what I mean? Like, I'm too lazy to call in anywhere.
Okay.
You broke my heart. Now I'm gonna break you in half.
Yeah, I think GotBot said he was calling someone about his toy. I was like, you can do that?
After as a kind of a funny side story, I was working on repainting Ratchet and Ironhide because I didn't like the color mismatch and whatnot. Then the windshield broke, and so I've just got this bag of parts. And that's been kind of the running joke. Is just, what is that? A Lazy? Oh, it's a message to Hasbro.
Maybe I'll just take a picture and be like, who wants this toy before I smash it? I don't know. Mail it out.
I am working on.
I'll tell you that I've thought about taking that Earthrise RC and just running it over with my car and videotaping it and putting it up on. But I was like, I feel like that would bring the wrong crowd to my channel. It may bring a crowd, but the wrong crowd.
Crimson, what do you think of RC? Oh, this is what I thought.
Here's the video. Go check this out. It's like,
imagine to have a dino foot to smash on it.
Oh, that would be a good channel. Just people destroying Transformers.
But remember, if you do that, at least donate 2 of them to children in need, so they can also experience the horrible Earthrise RC.
Yeah, we've talked about it before on Tales. Like I said, if I was like, because I'm in Canada, I can't even get a weapon. Like if I lived in the States, I'd just take my stuff out back and just shoot it with a shotgun. Yeah,
I did that with a Bumblebee once. That was fun.
You could get a hold of a Transformer that's suffering from GPS and put it out of its misery by crushing it in your hands. That's an idea of destroying a Transformer that's acceptable.
Nowadays it's not gold plastic syndrome, it's clear plastic syndrome. All the hinges are out of clear and you just go, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah,
even the non-clear hinges have QCs though.
Okay, so Enewtabie, because I'm going to move on to Enewtabie, quality control, design, and official licensing.
Well, I'm not as violent as everybody on here with destroying everything, but there's definitely some issues like double dealer's legs, exhaust head. I had to take a knife and cut the back tab of exhaust head to flip it over. Seeing looser joints, it's much better than it was going from like Titan's Return, Power of the Primes to Siege, but I've seen a lot lately on some of the stuff I've gotten, but I hope it'll improve.
Okay. So, Dennis, go ahead.
Okay, so the first one was official licensing. Official licensing. Okay, so the Bumblebee body apparently was explicitly only for Bumblebee. That's why we got that weird bug bite. I'm cool with it. But then I look at something like, I'm going to say this is going to be unpopular, but what else is new? Everything I say is unpopular. Everybody loves Gigawatt. Okay, I have a review of that dude coming up. I don't love him. It's okay, but I got to be realistic. It's the side swipe mold for double the price. They're They're drunk.
Thank you.
$60, and he can't even bend his knee 90 degrees? No, not a chance in hell. Oh, gosh. Edit that out. Not a chance in heck.
But it comes
I don't
with the Mr.
do the
Fusion.
licensing thing.
George's wife will punish you.
And
It's fine.
the QC, you know what? George said it all. I saw his video, and I was like, yeah, brilliant. Everything that you need to know about the QC is in there. I have avoided a lot of it. When I've given scores to some stuff, I have marked it down somewhat because I realized the QC issues. Like, subjectively, I love Run Amok and Runabout. Objectively, they got issues. They got a lot of issues. I avoid some of them, but like my Run Amok was a bit of a mess. Then we get to design. For the higher prices, the design is getting lazier. RC is lazy. I'm sorry, but the upside seekers, the Earthrise seekers, are lazy.
Absolutely.
All you did was take old design, old technology, upsize it, and say, let's sell it for here in Canada $40.
Amen.
Here's the thing:
Amen.
I give it an easier pass. I give it an easier pass for the cone heads because the only thing we have to compare to is the Classics mold. But we have had the FOC seekers come out since the Classics mold. They were better articulated. We have had the Siege seekers come out since the Classic mold. They are better articulated. I'm not saying that everything could be incorporated necessarily with an Earth mode, but the point is we do have how can I put this? We do have design ideas out there for those seekers that could definitely be incorporated here with some more ingenuity. And I feel like they just rest on their laurels because they said people have asked for an upsize this for a long time. Let's just do that and sell it to them. People will buy it, and they buy it. And right away, my Starscream didn't get through one transformation before the QC. His paint started chipping.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about that notch on either Thundercracker or Skywarp that you have to cut out. I have that 2-pack, and shockingly, all 4 of my wings are fine. But I had another one that I reviewed that I'd done the review of that was for somebody else, and I had to notch out his wing. I agree with Crimson in part that some of it is definitely, the amount of time on the line and reduced work capacity and the hate plague and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, here's what it boils down to. You had the greed of Hasbro trying to push out a year's worth of product in 2 months after a bunch of production delays when things are still not at top capacity. So you're rushing things through. That 11-minute mark might even be less as you're trying to rush so much out with smaller production runs. I would say less than 1 out of 20 is being checked. I would say maybe 1 out of 50 at this point because they're rushing to get it out. That causes QC problems, not to mention the lack of, I'll say, quality international distribution has had a lot of stock sitting in warehouses and stuff that get hot, that get cold, in trucks that get hot and get cold. All of that affects the longevity and durability of the plastic as well. I think it's a confluence of a lot of issues that's creating the QC issues. Good designs, overpriced, rough QC.
See, now I want to add to that it was announced today that the Wave 2 of Kingdom started appearing in stores. Didn't Wave 1 just come out like the end of last year? Like
We don't have Wave 1.
Huh?
We don't have, like, you're saying the end of last year. We don't have Wave 1. We don't have Studio Series 86. Like, I know you said one of the topics is Studio Series 86. I have nothing to add to that. I know nothing about that in the least. It's not a part of my world.
In Moncton, at least, 86 hasn't shown up, but Kingdom showed up mid-December.
Yeah, I know. That's right. It showed up. I was on to Danny about it, too. Yeah. Showed up everywhere mid-December. I've literally checked every single day since the 23rd of December. One local comic shop had Warpath come in, and just yesterday, before Snowstorm started, a pre-order of my Cyclonus came in. Besides that, nothing anywhere. Nothing at the EBs, nothing at Toys R Us. Poor Toys R Us.
Yeah, the Toys R Us here, nothing as well. Then they had something at the Walmart.
And nothing. 4 Walmarts, and none of them have been up. None of them have gotten any stock of any sort since before the start of 2021.
Let me stress, this is a Canadian problem, though, not an American problem.
This is.
Well, you say that, Anthony, but like, I'm here in Oklahoma, here in the Midwest, and their Kingdom has only shown up as of like 2 days ago, and I was able to get a Warpath and a Predacon see a Predacon Megatron, and the repack Optimus Prime, which is ridiculous. So it's not just that.
But don't worry, Hasbro doesn't have a distribution problem. That's what they say.
Well, it's not okay. So I know.
Don't Crimson. Don't open your mouth about retail stuff.
But
don't open your mouth about being retail problems. At the end of the day, stop with the manufacturer, my friend. You're not going to convince me.
I understand that, and the amount of production, they need to make enough production for it to get distributed everywhere. But this is a Target problem. This is a Toys R Us problem. This is a retailer. They are not distributing it to places that are.
Okay, Dennis, let him talk, man.
No, they're taking it. No. I'm saying they're taking it to the places where, like, the majority of the people are. The foot traffic is, right. They're not taking it to places that are like pseudo on lockdown or stuff like that. So. That's the real problem.
I don't agree.
And the container falling in.
And I'll give you 2 examples why I don't agree. One, we haven't been locked down since June. We have 5 cases. No,
that's because no one goes to Newfoundland.
It's just not coming here. Secondly, I can confirm, because I know people. I can confirm that the reason we've had so many Amazon delays is because the corporate orders from Hasbro are not filled, and I can confirm for Toys R Us the same thing. The corporate orders not only were not filled, but some of those orders have since been canceled because they're not being filled by Hasbro. That's not the retailer. That's the manufacturer not filling the orders.
I'm still waiting for Coneheads.
But I'm just saying it's not 100% Hasbro's fault. It's more of a
split. At the end of the day, it falls to them as the manufacturer.
It's true. I see what you're both saying, though. Like, you're kind of right. Like, Crimson, what you're saying a bit, but
okay, so like we had that container ship that fell over in the ocean, right? Like all those containers fell over. Thousands of 40,000 containers or whatever. And like 40 of them were earmarked just for Hasbro. Now, Hasbro will never come out and admit, Takara will never come out and admit that, yes, we lost 40 containers. They all contained every single one of your exclusive thrusts. They included all of Wave 1 of Kingdom. They'll never admit that, right? But it's really very coincidental that because Target is extremely aggressive here in the United States. If they have an exclusive, it is on the shelf and it is well stocked, and you will get it. Another case will come in, and you will get it, and another case will come in. And it is unusual to see thrust so rare everywhere. And I think they got a few pallets of so in and just distributed them as little as they could to high traffic areas, and all the rest are at the bottom of the ocean.
Now,
people want to make the money.
Hold on. I gotta jump in on this real quick, because I think what a huge problem is that we see a bunch of people online who, whether it's through a forum, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through Facebook, whatever the case may be, we see a bunch of people saying, look what I got. We see a bunch of people, weeks in advance, months in advance, whatever the case may be, of doing reviews. So people automatically think that this is in store. And then when they can't find it in store, they get really, really upset because they can't find it in store. And they're just not patient enough. There's a lack of understanding there.
Okay, 2 things. George, check the queue. And second, I was at the Illyrial Target yesterday. There were 10 thrusts just sitting on a shelf.
Man, I gotta get someone to ship me one of them. Holy goodness.
It's heartbreaking.
Lazy, you want one? I'll get you one. Hit me up on Instagram and we'll work it out.
I would, absolutely. Because Canada's supposed to get through Toys R Us, and I'm not seeing it happen.
I'm going to say Canada in February. Toys R Us has an order for 900 for the nation.
Oh,
let input help you.
No kidding.
For sure. And then I'll say this, on top of quality control, I'm done with Masterpiece. I got MP49, Black Convoy, a huge Nemesis Prime fan, arguably one of my top 5 favorite G1-ish characters of all time. MP49, the plastic So Optimus Prime transforms, arms tuck in, truck comes out, and it's basically the same transformation for close to 40 years now. So we all know MP44 and MP49 has to, you open up the chest plate and you turn it, you rotate it, and then you close the windows again, so he's got the bigger windows on his chest. His forearms and the chest windows on the inside. So when you turn them around and expose them to the outside, all of the plastic was scuffed. I don't know how that happens, but I had to go in with a nail emery board to polish the plastic. Nothing on it was broken. Nothing on it was damaged or, like snapped or anything like that. But the fact that I had to go in with an emery board and polish the plastic to get the scratches off the plastic irritates me to no end. I'm very tolerant of QC issues. I understand a pin can be driven in sideways. 2020 sucked. We all know it sucked. Short staff, short-handed, all that crazy stuff happens. I'm very, very tolerant when it comes to QC issues. But there's no excuse if I'm going to spend $250, $300 on a figure for you not to make sure that figure looks the way it's supposed to look before you put it in box.
Okay. NinjaBill, are you there? I see you're muted. I don't know if you're... Because if you're not, I'm going to jump over you. Okay, you there?
Go ahead. Hello, everyone.
Okay, so Bill, before I get to the question, can you tell everybody how they can find you on social media and YouTube? Or did I lose you that quick?
No, I'm here. So, hello, and thank you for letting me join the show. I'm very sorry I'm late. I was on the road, and I'm not home yet. I'm actually at my brother's place here in Minnesota. And so thank you very much. I'm, of course, NinjaBill Reviews. You can find me as Shinobi Guru on Facebook, NinjaBill on Discord, and I never use Twitter, so I'm not even going to say it. And I used to be on Instagram, but I don't use that anymore either. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And hello, Anthony, HNE Games. Hello, Input. Hello, Enewtabie. Hello, the Lazy Eyebrow. Hello, CrimsonRaptors. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Soundwave 884. And everyone in the chat. Hello.
Okay, so the question, Bill, is what are your thoughts on Warpath Cybertron quality control, design, and licensing?
Oh, well, I do have some opinions. Okay, so we'll start with licensing. Licensing, I really didn't have a problem with because, other than a few little hits and misses, I understand why they're starting to put in, like Autobot Optimus Prime, Autobot Bumblebee, that's a licensing issue. That's because they, couldn't retain one name over another, and they're using that as the substitute. But as far as quality control goes, I've been relatively lucky with the figures I have gotten so far. And I've also been, hit or miss here and there. Like with the Earthrise Wheeljack. That thing, my shoulder, the right shoulder, the pin was bent inside the shoulder, so I couldn't transform it properly. So I had to actually take it apart, disassemble it, straighten out that pin, and put it in. Unfortunately, it also cracked the plastic a little bit when I took it out. I managed to stick some Bondic over it. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you very much. Shout out my friend, my brother there. And it looks good now. But quality control has been hit or miss as far as I've been personally experienced. And I've watched everybody's videos here time and time again. And they've all had their share of problems. Dennis had that problem with yes. And Input had that huge problem with, God, so many videos, I can't keep it all straight. Who did what? Anyway, I just picked up this guy, and I got him for $25. Let me get my camera going here. I just found this guy for $25, and he has a few QC issues, but my one problem with this guy is design. The knees in here, those tabs that are supposed to go into the knees here. It's like the engineering team is having a laugh at every single one of us. Because that is just so poorly designed. Because it's so tough, at least on this copy, my copy, to get those tabs into position, it was like I had to hold this on the table while pushing down just to get those to fit properly so I can tab it in on each side. It was crazy how hard that was. Crazy.
Oh, I had the same problem. My legs actually came off.
Kind of just to add to that too, not just like what figure is that again? Double dealer?
Yeah.
Yeah, double.
Yeah. Okay. So for the Netflix Bumblebee, getting it transformed the first time into vehicle mode, that windshield does not want to go in. You have to heat those tabs up. And when I mentioned that on Twitter, like 20 people mentioned they had the exact same problem.
I just put out my Bumblebee. It was supposed to be the first video of this year, but I forgot which order I uploaded it. But I have the same problem. I am really worried that paint is going to chip, because you have to really push that in there to get it in. I mean, on my copy, and apparently yours as well, Lazy Eyebrow. I mean, I have to hold the figure and then push down to get it in there. So
and of course,
the paint's holding up.
That's a lot of tension to put on a clear plastic hinge joint.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and it worried me. It's like the Netflix Optimus Prime. They chose a clear yellow plastic for those Target Masters, and I've had experiences with clear yellow plastic forever. It's always a bad experience. Ever since the Minicon started using clear plastic on them way back in our Armada, it's just like half of those that one set with the police car and the VTOL. It's like every bit of that clear blue plastic broke on them. There's one with yellow clear plastic on it, just smashed the pieces the first time I transformed it. And I've always had a problem with clear plastics. Is that Bumblebee, the force that you have to apply to get it in there. I am really tempted to take a nail file and sand down those tabs that are on the front of the windshield there, just so it'll go in and out smoother. It is really that bad. And along the same QC line, go ahead.
I was going to say I had the same problem, and I'm afraid to apply too much force. So, yeah, it's because you feel like you're compelled to separate them to push the one piece in. But again, I haven't gotten any stress fracturing on it or anything, but I worry about that. And which one was it? Hoist. I had to file bits. So, and then I had to file for both wheeljack and exhaust just to get their heads to flip. So there's just a lot of things you have to fix if you want your toy to operate the way you want it to operate.
Yeah, but see, that's been the thing since the G1 line. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's been a thing since the G1 toy, where they've all had little issues here and there. And that's why we now today have figured out all these methods, that we look to each other and learn from each other, and of course then give that information out to the community on how to fix issues. It's always been a thing. And it'll probably always be a thing. In my mind anyway, we're always going to have some quality control issues. Not because, some people will say ignorantly, they'll say, oh, that's because it's manufactured in Asia. Well, that's got nothing to do with it. But it would happen in the manufacturing process here as well. So that's just ignorance talking when I hear people say that.
Okay,
so it'd be like how they're engineered, like the G1 Mirage, even from back in the day, has a very like the tolerances on that waist. I mean, you'll just snap it right off from that character.
Okay, Soundwave, did we do your introduction? Okay,
no.
So do your introduction and then I'll ask the question.
Soundwave 84. I do Transformers and dabble in stop motion every now and then, and that's really about it. I don't have much time. I got 4 kids, so. You find me on Instagram at Soundwave_8084_reviews, Twitter, which I don't use very often, Soundwave8084, and Facebook at Soundwave8084.
Okay, so quality control, design, and official licensing for War for Cybertron. What are your thoughts?
I'll put it this way. Collecting Transformers so long, I never had so many figures so often have a problem with them. At Power of the Primes, Time Returns, I had a lot of problems. Then as Siege came around, I had less problems. But then as Earthrise came around, I'd say they downgraded the quality control. And I've got Starscream came with missing the part of the clear yellow on his nose cone. I have one missing weapons. The plastic looks scuffed all the time. It just, loose joints more so than it was in Siege. They don't do ratchets anymore. Ratchet joints, like you buy the leader class, which wasn't really leader class. It's like Shockwave. He had ratchet knees, but now they don't have that. So the joints don't always hold the figure. Like you try to stand them up, they want to slide.
What do they call those joints? They're like resistance joints, or what is the name for it?
Like ratchets?
I call them ratchets.
Ratchets is in the big guys. The smaller guys, they don't have ratchets. They have the joints where they're fairly loose.
Yeah, they click. They click.
Ratchets click. Yeah. The other ones some don't have ratchets. I'm trying to remember what the name was called, but
I don't know if it's the official name, but I call them friction ratchets because there's no spring mechanism.
Friction joints. That is what I was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you have anything else, Soundwave? Otherwise, move on to the next topic.
I destroyed Transformers too. I chopped up a Grimlock, but it's Cyberverse though. So that doesn't really count. But I pulled him out of the package. I left his leg in there.
I've never had a problem
it just kept falling apart. So I just took an axe to it and put it on my channel.
Gangster.
So then I put him in a baggie, but I didn't find all his pieces.
Just strap a firework on the back and salute it as it flies away.
Well, I felt so happy afterwards. I felt relieved.
Yeah.
I just had a big smile on my face. My kids are happy for me. They're watching. Daddy,
one thing I gotta mention is I find it surprising how often people complain about breaking something, and I'm just like, or Dennis is the same way as me. It's like, how did you break that? They'll mention a toy, and I'm like, how did they break that? It's not necessary to apply. In some cases they'll mention something that. Yes, and
grapple
peg's
a whole different thing, man. That's a whole. You gotta understand that peg and that peg hole creates a vacuum, and that peg gets ripped off. Like you have it done. That's it.
Me. And it's the hollow peg, no less. Like, who designed that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I get that. I get that, and I agree
with the hollow peg thing. Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that completely. But I've seen things like in the Power of the Primes where people have, snapped off like the Grimlock, where they snapped a joint, that chest joint there, and I'm just like, how did you snap that off? What did you set on it?
there are some joints though that just like my Siege Optimus, the waist just snapped because again it was hollow. Yeah. Went to transform it one day and it just crumbled in my hands. I get this one was on me because I used rubbing alcohol and clear plastic, but the windshield on my Earthrise Rc just crumbled.
Yeah, Janet in chat too was saying that the Cyclonus. I keep seeing people saying the Cyclonus is breaking lately.
No, I still need Cyclonus. Don't ruin the surprise.
Well, breaking. What's breaking?
I don't know. Like part of it, I guess.
Okay,
maybe the legs. The legs, maybe.
I would say that Cyclonus is a lot of fun to transform. So. It's reaching its maximum transformation.
You get two.
But I would say
transformation. Right. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, but hey, for Lazy, so when your Siege Prime broke, I was immediately I freaked out. I was like, oh my god, I've got to check my Siege Prime. I got to make sure because when I got that figure, I transformed it for a month and a half. It's so much fun. I hadn't had that much fun with the Transformers since the Generation 2 Optimus.
I agree. That one was
no lie.
Yeah. I used to transform.
But I looked at exactly. Yeah, and I looked exactly where yours had broke, or it's at, and there wasn't a stress mark or nothing like that. There wasn't the way. I mean, I could kind of see how it was designed, and I was just I'm not really understanding. And sometimes I wonder too if temperature, it could be. I forget if it was Anthony or GotBot mentioned that, but temperature's got to play a factor in it too, right? Humidity, heat, cold, because GotBot has that the wolf wire, which is Weird Wolf. Yeah. And he has no problem with his, but pretty much everybody else that lives south of him has broken their Weird Wolf from time to time.
The piece on the back broke on mine.
And I still have yet to have a grapple peg snap on me. It's just sometimes the figure's good for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next thing. Now, this is more of a poll, and if you don't want to reveal generally where you live, that's fine. But starting with Lazy, how is the assortment and availability of product for Warpath Cybertron and the Studio Series in your area, which we know is somewhere north where it's probably very cold right now?
Well, I've already said Moncton on stream a few times, but
Okay. It's in Canada, right?
It is in Canada. Yeah,
Okay.
Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, East Coast, Atlantic Standard Time.
Represent? Okay.
Anyways, it depends on what store you go to. Like GotBot was saying earlier, like some stores are getting it, some stores aren't. Toys R Us is still like they got wave 3 and 4 of Earthrise within a week of each other, and it wasn't until the end of December. EV Games was kind of the same story, and then Walmart skipped wave 3 and they skipped wave 2 as well. They had Earthrise wave 1 for the entire year, and then all of a sudden we're into Kingdom. So just kind of a grab bag of what's what. I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird.
Crimson, if you're willing to, general location and how the product is there.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in the Midwest, United States, and I will say when Siege hit, I was pretty much on par with just about everybody. I was able to get kind of like the leaders, the Voyagers. I mean, seeing Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Shockwave. Oh, because I love Shockwave so much. It's my favorite Decepticon. And Ultra Magnus. Like, I just could not leave them on the shelf. I had to take them home. But Siege was really good until you got to the Rat-Bat and Rumble, or Frenzy, that never got here, never showed up. Siege Astro Train never showed up. There were Shockwaves and Galaxy Upgrade Primes lining the shelves in Walmart and Target alike. I never saw them go on clearance, so somebody paid $50 for all of them. But I paid $50 for Shockwave because I love Shockwave. And he came with his little what's that? What did I call that? The Sentinel drone when he was chasing the female Autobots. So he came with that's what that little thing kind of creates as an homage to that. But Earthrise comes around and you get all the Micromasters and a lot of the Weaponizer, little Battlemaster dudes, and those all show up about January, February, and then of course we know how the rest of that year went, and it pretty much like dropped to where like I'm months behind everybody else. And with Earthrise Wave 2 that had like the Quintesson Judge, the Alicon, none of those showed up at any retail location that had like a Walmart or Target or a toy store, nothing like that. The only place that had those is an Aldi grocery store that got pallet after pallet after pallet of smokescreen of the Alicon, the Earthrise RC, and the Airway, like just pallets after pallets. They're still there. They're still lining the grocery stores. It's crazy. I'll say for the Walgreens exclusives, Ratchet was pretty plentiful here during Siege, and Blue Streak was kind of the same way, and then it seemed like they got one whole stock of Blue Streak, and then they disappeared. And so those are all kind of going around the Walgreens.
Okay, so Danny, how was product in your area?
I mean, up to the Skywarp and Thundercracker 2-pack, we got everything. In my location, like I'm in the west coast of Canada, 4 hours from like Vancouver, so Kelowna it's called, but we only have one Toys R Us and 2 Walmarts. And ever since the Skywarp 2-pack, we got everything. You just had to go, like I go 6 days a week to every store, and I have kind of a couple ins at some of them, or I wouldn't get it. But yeah, the Netflix stuff only hit twice, and the Kingdom stuff hit once. But yeah, just because I go every day, I got it. But and the Toys R Us has not got any new waves here or anything. It's like stopped. It's like they're waiting to, I don't know, but the Walmarts, at least we have the Walmarts here.
Okay. Enewtabie product.
It's actually very great. I just got all the 86 bots minus Grimlock from Walmart. A lot of Kingdom stuff is out. And I've got it hooked up with a Walgreens manager. She holds anything that's exclusive over for me, so I can pick that up. So it's pretty good.
So I have a question. Do you have 8 other extra bedrooms in your house for the rest of us?
just 3 extra.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to sleep on the floor just so I can, drive back the next day after I've gone to your store and bought all the ones I'm missing.
It's crazy too, because I saw like the G.I. Joe retro stuff. There was like 40 of the All Strikers sitting on the shelf. Yeah, I've never seen that much, but they did a reset at the local Walmart, and they're changing all the shelving, all the racking, and it was tons of stuff out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
God, you said when you guys post stuff to the Discord, when I say I'm jealous, I'm actually jealous because you guys get like some of the best stuff, and I don't see any of it. But moving on to
how do you think us Canadians feel?
I'm talking about Americans, sir.
Except for Danny, who just said she gets everything.
Well, I mean, I do have a lot of people. Like, I live in a town of 100,000 people, so I'm in with all the stores. But you know, they can only do so much, right? But it's crazy. Like, we got no Scorponok, we got no Twin, like the Thundercracker Skyward. I've never seen us never get stuff here, so it's insane.
Okay, so
Hey,
Dennis,
if you're looking for Scorponok, BBTS has a listing for it for June, and I did.
I put that in
Canada.
Put it. Yeah, I got it. Triple R said it, so yeah, I pre-ordered it.
okay,
Yeah, I think
I wanted to find it in
they'll hose you on
person,
your
though.
taxes,
Yeah, I just wanted to find it in person, but
okay, Dennis,
True.
where are you, and what about product availability?
I'm a little bit more east than George is. I'm in Newfoundland, and we have our own time zone because we're weirdos. In 2 words, distribution or availability, I should say here, hot garbage. It has been since the beginning of 2020. We got wave 1 of Earthrise. First of all, we got everything from Siege. I'll give credit where credit is due. We did get everything from Siege, and to my shock and amazement, except for Nova Star, we got everything from Power of the Primes. But Earthrise was a disaster. We got Wave 1, and then that was here the whole year. Wave 2 and 3, again, they showed up about a week apart, and that was in December, only once. They did both come to Walmart here. Wave 2 was fairly plentiful. They got a display in, very similar to the grocery store one in the US. Got a display in at Toys R Us here. It was the weirdest thing.
I'm jealous you got Toys R Us still. Ugh.
Well, don't get excited about Toys R Us here.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean.
I can go to Toys R Us now and get a Siege Thundercracker and Siege Astro Train and Ultra Magnus.
Are you serious though? Because if you still have Siege Thundercrackers there, can you hook me up with one?
I can go and have a look tomorrow. Yeah, if it's still there, and it's yours. I'll have a look.
If
I
we're
don't
doing
make any
that,
promises, but we did.
so if we're doing that, I still need a Cyclonus.
That's not
CMD Standard got it.
Also, a number of Studio 86 figures. I have Scourge and Hot Rod, but I need the other 4. But anyway, continue on, Dennis. I'm just shopping.
That's cute. That's cute that you're saying all that. So they showed up a week apart, but we did get the Thundercracker Skywalk 2-pack. I hooked up a couple of people that live like 8 hours away, and was like, "Dude, I can hook you up." We were going to pick up our dock, and then one of them I was like, "Dude, I can hook you up if you want." And another guy who lives in Central, about 4 hours away, he was like, "If you don't do this and help me, then I can't get it." And he's right. Because for whatever reason, people tried to order it from online, and like that didn't work. So they sold out a long time ago. There's still a couple of the clone packs there. Nothing Kingdom. Kingdom is not a part of the world that I live in. The Voyagers showed up at EB Games, but they didn't show up at Walmart. Studio Series 86. That's adorable that you think that's part of the world I live in. No, that's a far-flung dream. Like, you know, brand new Studio Series here is that terrible Soundwave and Cliff Jumper. Like that's been here a couple of weeks. You know, like no, I'm not anticipating those things before March. I'm not even. I haven't even hardly looked at reviews or anything. What's the point? It's not a part of my world, and it's not going to be part of my world soon. So yeah, 2 words: hot garbage.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm going to line up on February 1st outside of my local Target to get the rest of the Studio Series, and hopefully I'll find Cyclonus, or maybe Hasbro Pulse will actually send it. But going on to the next person is list here. The thing shifted, so now it's input.
I'm sorry.
Well, I live down in South Texas, and where I live, I've got, I don't know, I lose count of how many Targets and Walmarts and everything else that I have. I've got about 40 Targets in the city, 50 Walmarts, thousands upon thousands of Walgreens. It gets obscene here. So I really don't have an issue of finding anything, because if the target down the street doesn't have it, then the target further down the street will have it. And if that one doesn't have it, then the target even further down the street will have it. I just keep going pretty much from store to store to store to store all day if I need to, just to be able to find it. And that's why I give offers to everybody, GotBot and Danny and anybody else who needs it, who needs the aid and stuff. Like, I found 3 Kingdom Megatrons, bought all 3 of them, and had friends buy them all from me because I've got one on pre-order from BBTS. They couldn't find them. They had the hardest time even thinking that it was a thing, and I just...
You know what's weird about that, though, Input? I was talking yesterday when I picked up the Cyclonus pre-order. I said, hey, what about my Kingdom Megatron? Because I got him on pre-order, too. And apparently, according to what he told me, he said, well, the street date for those isn't here yet, so even if I had it in the store, I can't sell it to you yet. I don't know, that's so weird. Like, is there a street date for that? Like,
yeah, there is. There is. There's from EB, yeah.
I think there is, but I think what happened, dude, is like, since, my city for Christmas, like, is, first of all, my city's huge, right? 4th largest one in America. So when Christmas hits, everything's swamped. I mean, everything's picked over, everything's clean. So I think what happens is managers are like, we've got pallets and pallets of Kingdom back there. Screw it, just throw it out on the shelves. We need something out there. Screw the street date.
They can break street date and they can pay for it, but a small place like EB or something, they have to stick to that because they're already going under.
Fair. Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, just 2 months ago we had 5 EB here, and right now we have 3 in 2 months.
It's a dying breed.
Well, good luck.
Well, here's what doesn't make sense about street dates is that I could understand that, like, say, like Godzilla versus King Kong. You don't want to spoil the enemy monster or something like that, or a Black Widow movie or something. Some Marvel thing. They don't want to spoil like the characters are in it. With Kingdom, it's like, why is there a street date? Like, the show's going to be out on May 30th. We're already getting the toys. You showed us them on Hasbro Pulse and everywhere else we can pre-order it. So just put them in the store. So
did you say the show is coming out May 30th?
I haven't heard that.
Yes, the 3rd series. Yeah.
Yep. So they have 5 months to make. Okay, you know what? That's not that bad of a deal.
Well, Sean Hawkins said they already did the voice part, so I don't know what else is going on.
Yeah, it'll usually be pretty quick turnaround, but they'll also do the thing where. So we'll get these toys, we buy them, right? And then they'll Netflix series them at Walmart, and they'll get the true colors that are in the show, and that's how they'll get us placed. That's why I'm getting the second.
We never got wave 1 of that here either. I forgot about that in the question. We never got wave 1 of the Netflix stuff here either, and we only got the wave 2 once.
Okay, NinjaBill, where you at, and what's the product like?
Well, I'm in Iowa, central Iowa, and let me first start off by saying that availability is one of those things where a lot of it is regionally based, and more so it is the population center that helps with availability. Where I live, it's fields, nothing but corn and soybeans, okay? And I have to go anywhere from 75 to 120 miles to make the population center. So getting things, because I live in a farming community, is Transformers aren't the biggest sellers. So, and most Walmarts will only stock what is, that sells well. That's a given. So for me, like, the entire Combiner Wars line never happened. Never happened in my area. Never saw one. I take that back. A Power Glide, and that was it. It showed up once. After that, it hit or miss. Mostly I'll get a first or second wave of something and then never see anything else. For example, Siege. Wave 1 and 2, saw them all. Got them all. 3 and 4, never happened. To this day, I've never seen any wave 3 or 4 of Siege. Earthrise, we got in the first wave here and there. If I drive around, I have to drive 50 to 70 miles around my area just to look those up. The second wave of Earthrise, didn't happen for me. I had to rely on my brother who lives out of state and one in another city, a major city, just to get those. Wave 3 and 4, I've never even seen them. But surprisingly, Cyberverse, plentiful. Get those everywhere. That's why I feature a lot on my channel. And I like those stories. I do. I like them. I like all Transformers stories. That's just me. A lot of people don't. I do. Netflix, however, is also up there because we've gotten them all. Every single one of them without fail. But I've only picked up a certain few that I actually wanted. I thought would fit in well with other mainline toys such as Seaweed and Earthrise, because they do. Like that Optimus Prime. I've never seen an Earthrise Optimus Prime. Thank you very much, Optimus Wilbur. He's sending me one. Big shout out to him. So he's sending me one, but I saw the Netflix one, and yeah, it's more G2 looking, and that's fine for me. And that was my first experience with the Earthrise Prime mold. So far, I liked it. I had virtually no QC issues with mine, at least, except for the left rear second tire doesn't spin freely. But all I did was take a nail file in there and fix that little mushroom peg in there, and now it rolls fine. Availability is hit and miss. That's a lot of it. Again, is because of region and population density. If you don't live in areas with a large population density, toys will be harder to find. That's just a given. And it also depends on the retailer themselves on what they're ordering. If they know they're going to be selling a lot of them, they will, of course, order that. My area, they don't. Transformers is just something that parents occasionally buy their kids for birthdays or holidays, and that's so they don't stock it very well. And so I've just come to expect that I won't find a lot of things. Exclusives for me, and another thing is unlike a lot of the people here, I do not shop online. I only shop in the wild using cash. That's what I do. I don't use a debit card. I don't use credit cards or none of that stuff. So, and that sure hurts me in the long run, but it's okay. Now, once in a while, I will buy online. Once in a great while, I'll say, okay, I'll get something. Like I've got the Kingdom Power Core Optimus Prime coming. Is that the name of it? Core Optimus, Power Core
that's
Optimus?
from 2010.
Little one?
Oh, well.
Or which, yeah.
The Kingdom one.
Yeah, the little one, right?
Oh, the core class.
Yeah.
Oh, the core class, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. I've got that one coming through BBTS. They owe me some credit because I canceled my RC from them because I got tired. I was waiting. I was one of the first 1,000 people to put in my pre-order, and I still had not gotten it by November of 2020. I'd still not gotten it, so I canceled it. I was tired of waiting. It's utterly ridiculous in my mind for you to have a pre-order and have the toy show up in retail before you get your pre-order. That just absolutely makes me angry. So I canceled it, and I've written it off, and then here comes Transcend and looks at the rescue and sends me one. So I got an Earthrise Rc.
I think NinjaBill, so like you're out there collecting toys off the grid because you're using that straight on cold cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the reason why I don't buy online before, just to inform people is I've had my identity stolen twice now, and I'm not looking for a third time.
How do we know you're really NinjaBill?
Don't even joke about that.
So I am very, very paranoid when it comes to using my, cards online now. Even though there's lots of safeties nowadays, things have changed within the last 10 years, and that's awesome for everyone else. I'm still too paranoid to do it. End of the day, I'm just too damn paranoid to do it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But it's...
I was going to say, because I need to move on. So Soundwave, where are you at and what's the product like?
I'm in North Alabama, so just takes a while to get product, but I can find it. I got all the Kingdoms except Optimus Primal, the Netflix Wave 2, whatever the new one. It's just flooding the shelves. They're just everywhere. They'll have them in the main section, then all over by where they're putting the summer stuff. They'll have a whole bunch more of that sitting over there. Found all the studio series except for Grimlock. So, otherwise, I can pretty much find what I want. And with my job, I work, the merchandising routes. I'm in Walmart's, Targets all the time. So I live in a decent sized area, so I'm able to hit up a few of them. So.
Okay. Thanks for being short and sweet. That was great. I let Bill go a little over. I'm like, oh god, we need to fix this.
I'm sorry about that.
TFFanGeek, where you are and what's the product like?
Okay, so I live in a small college town out on the coastline of California, and it sucks rotten eggs, the distribution of Transformers figures here. I'm not kidding. There's been a period where an entire month goes by and the Transformers section at my Target store is empty. And it's the only Target store within 100 miles of where I live. And there's 0 Walmarts where I live also. So the best place to buy Transformers for me ever since Toys R Us and Kmart went out of business back in 2018 has been Amazon. And now Amazon's become a terrible distributor of Transformers. It's like, look at this. I left when you guys were talking about quality control issues. Look, because I don't know how you're going to be able to see this, but you look closely right in there. One of the pins on Earthrise Ramjet's arms was put in crookedly. So now his arm is sitting off center. Look at that. That's how it's sitting because that metal pin is
we haven't
crooked.
got those.
Yeah. So my only option would be to buy a replacement ramjet because if I tried to pull the pin out, the top of the pin is right there on the top of his chest. So I'd have to drill a hole to get to the pin. So yeah.
Well,
so where I live, basically, you either take what you have, or you leave the store with nothing in hand.
Wow. Okay. So I have some facts here. So the distribution. This is it. Now keep in mind the company I work for. We have an idea what the distribution is. So each region and different stores divide up the countries in different regions will receive a portion of an order for the particular region, and then based on population density of where each store is located, the order will be distributed accordingly. So then for the case of Target, for example, I live near Cleveland. So I live about 40 miles west of Cleveland, so we will get way less than a store in downtown Cleveland. And yeah, so what happens is at my local Targets, I will get lucky to find a product after its previous wave. Oh, how do I put this? Basically, where maybe somebody near a big city like Danny would receive wave 2, I would still be on wave 1. So it takes a while to get here, and it doesn't matter if it's Walmart or Target or Best Buy. The toys just get here later.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, so going on with that, also some statistics. So when a toy releases, typically the first 20% of sales is collectors, so it's us. So we'll buy out the product over and over again to eat up that 20%. Then the remaining 80% is where the general population will pick it up. And that's where we end up with the shelf forming, because what happens is the collectors will buy everything up, and then they assume, oh, the sales are big, we need to put more out. And then we end up with all these extra toys months after the fact, shelf warming. And keep in mind, I'm saying shelf warming, not shelf forming. So they just sit there like the Megatrons, and now we have the Netflix Negatron and the Netflix the purple Rainmaker, the Hot Link. Thank you. We're sitting on shelves until the day before Christmas, just kind of warming the bench there. So
Never came here.
Yeah, so that's basically the breakdown. Like Target broke street date, as well as some Walmarts on the Series 86. So Target, because I had a conversation with Hasbro this morning in preparation for this, Target is actually being fined. So because there is ample proof online of Target releasing the product early. Now, not one Target here did, 2 other Targets did not. So that's why I'm going to be standing outside of one Target that has all the product I need on the 1st of February so I can get it. Because they won't sell it to me early because they're good people, unlike the people who sell the other stuff to the collectors, whatever. So, I have one question from 2 people. So Gabriel RBX and Motion Blaster 705 asks, what would you like to see from Generations after Kingdom is finished? So we're going to make this a short answer. So starting with George, what would you like to see next? And again, short answer.
I want to see my question answered first. My question about your percentages, about your 20% collectors and whatnot. What percentage of that is scalpers?
See, that's a good point, because my targets, a couple of them, I'll go in and say, hey, can I get blah? In this case, Ramjet and Runabout, I think were not put out in the shelves because they didn't have the labeling, and so they had to go get it in the back room. Well, both times I asked for them, they both said, did you want all of them? That's how I knew I had a scalper in the area, because somebody was going in and buying all the inventory.
Someone call for an exterminator.
So, like, I'll go to Walmart. The Walmart, the city kind of like midpoint between here and Cleveland. That store is always gone with Generation product. There is no Generation products whatsoever and very little studio. And I think the scalper hits both of the stores. Because
so my question
the product
really
is just gone. Like, literally, the day it goes out, it is gone.
So of those 20%, is it really like 15% scalper and 5% collector, or like what?
The numbers weren't broken down. I don't even know how you would estimate it, because I guess they consider scalpers collectors, despite the fact that they're doing secondary market sales.
Yeah, they collect money.
Yeah, well, but again, George, what would you like to see after Kingdom in Generations?
I don't even know. Not G1. How's that?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like this is our second series of G1.
It's almost our third, really.
Okay. Okay, so
hey, this one did right though.
We've got classics, we've got masterpiece, and we've got mini masterpiece or War for Cybertron for some people. But like, we don't need it a 4th time or 5th if you consider the original G1. But like, we don't need it 5 times. We just.
Yeah.
I would like original characters.
No, wait, no!
You forgot one line of Generation 1, Encore Commemorative Series. That was another
I
one.
still count that as G1, honestly.
Yeah. See, I'm with Lazy Eyebrow here. We've gotten some, like, in the Siege line, we got a few little, recolors of Cybertron figures. How about doing more of those after Kingdom? Or how about some reimaginings of the Armada?
Or animated.
Or animated, yeah.
RID.
RID, yes, thank you, Input. That would be good too, because I would love to have another good, hopefully good, leader class or commander class Superfire convoy, or even better, a rail racer. My gosh, do I want a new rail racer set.
Ideally, though, like honestly, what I really want after War for Cybertron is done is like a victory lap of all the exclusives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Crimson, the question's up to you. What would you like to see next?
Well, I'm still under the impression, as much as I love Beast Wars I think came a year too early, and I think we needed, some more kind of blending of characters like, like the Galaxy Upgrade Prime, the Barricade, kind of getting Impactor, like, getting these characters that either have never had toys officially before, that wasn't exclusive, wasn't a convention exclusive, or ones that, like third party has made figures of, like for IDW, things like that. It would be great to kind of get those characters, in an actual official main line at a mainline price. And that's really what I wanted to see in like this last year, not Kingdom. I'm sure it's going to be great. I mean, right now the Black Arachnia figure I have is amazing. The Warpath figure leaves something to be desired, because I do like that original Generations one that was like the H tank, and that actually fits. That's actually Siege compatible with those 5mm ports. But I really want. I don't want them to go Beast Machines. I don't want them to go Trans Tech. I don't want them to go Trans Metal. I don't want to see any of that. And I think maybe kind of in the direction of maybe like an Armada blended with all the Unicron trilogy with other characters from G1 that we haven't gotten yet, Maybe some stuff with, I know Triple R, Roland Redneck Reviews, that joined us on Tales from Teletran. He's mentioned Pretenders. When they could do that with the RED line, the Robot Enhanced Designs, they could kind of figure out something like that. They have all these Micromasters, right? They've made a ton of them. They could make kind of a playset situation. I just don't want Transformers to go away. Because this trilogy, this War for Cybertron trilogy, despite everything that's happened with other franchises and stuff, I never ever as much as I love Transformers, I never thought in my wildest dreams you would walk down the toy shelf, you'd see He-Man, you'd see what was it, G.I. Joe, you'd start seeing Thundercats and Transformers, and Transformers takes up more shelf space than Star Wars does. There are more Transformers available than Star Wars figures right now. That's crazy.
Okay, so Danny, what would you like to see next?
I want to see more G1.
Yeah. Cut the video off. That's it. Done. Okay.
I do want to see Victory and Master Force G1 stuff.
Okay, you saved yourself. Yes. Okay.
And more regular G1. Of course.
I need that Star Saber now.
Yeah, and Deathsaurus and
Commander class Star Saber would rock.
Okay, so Enewtabie, what would you like to see next?
Yeah, I'm right there with Danny. Master Force, Pretenders, give me Overlord, all that.
Okay, Dennis.
I like the Master Force and Pretender stuff. However, I'm going to say Turbo Masters, Predators, Omnibots, Throttlebots, probably more Beast Wars. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, NinjaBill.
Okay, I am going to join the chorus that has been singing outside for the last few years. I want a Commander class tidal wave. I want a new tidal wave. Okay, from the Armada series, I want a new title, but it's got to be Commander class or a Titan class. It's got to be, no question about it in my mind. He's that big. Especially if you play that PS2 game, where
yeah, buddy. He comes out of the water and you got to fight him. Yeah.
You got to play dodge and shooting at his face. It's a great game. I love that game. Anyway, but we also need
such a basic explanation.
Ron
just comes out of the water and you fight him.
Ron earlier in chat pointed out we need more combiners. I agree. Let's get some of those Beast Wars combiners. Let's see a Magnabot. Let's see a Tricantic. Let's see a Railracer from RID. Let's see some of the lesser known combiners, especially from we had 2 brand new combiners in the RID line. So let's see those come back.
I like combiners as much as the next guy, but do you know how stressful it was walking into a Walmart or something and knowing, yep, I'm going to spend $150 today in case Wave 2 comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I'm joining that chorus. Above and beyond everything else, I would love to see a tidal wave. We need a tidal wave. If they're going to give us a Commander class Decepticon in any line, in my mind, it has to be a tidal wave.
I agree.
As per Takara, it has to be a tidal wave. If you're listening by some extraordinary means, by a miracle somewhere, give us the tidal wave, please. That's all we want. Else too, but we want a tidal wave.
Seeing Taylor Brickbot, a really awesome guy in the chat, he says, who wants Commander class Broadside? So if they make a Commander class tidal wave, they should retool it, repaint it into Broadside.
Easily.
No. Don't retool it. Don't retool it. Just make a whole new mold and do it properly. Because tidal wave don't transform into a jet. Okay, that'd be a horrible remold.
He's the Dark Fleet, okay? He's the Dark Fleet. He's got a submarine. He's got this flying battle-based thing. He's got this, a ship, a sub. Well, no, he has an aircraft carrier. Part of him is an aircraft carrier. Part of him is a submarine, and then there's that third part that opens up. You can set many cons in, sort of a transport thing. So, give us a Commander class tidal wave that that has all 3 pieces of the Dark Fleet. That would. I went on too long. Next guy.
Okay, Soundwave. What would you like to see?
Finish up some of the G1 figures they haven't done. Throttle bots, broadside, an actual good broadside, not the crappy one from the other wave.
Yeah.
And just try to do some of those and done. Then just do some modern Transformers. Just come up with some new ideas. Do something different. I'd like to see a new take.
TFFanGeek, thoughts?
All right. Well, I don't have a particular series, rather characters. I'd love to finally get deluxe class figures of Point Blank and Sure Shot to stand beside Siege Crosshairs for starters.
Yeah.
If I had to choose a Commander class figure to be a Decepticon, I'd choose Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Megatron, Dragon Mode Megatron. Make that a Commander class figure. Even though it's a Predacon, I think that would be a great villainous Commander class figure. Unpopular opinion, I'd want the next Titan to be a more Generation 1 accurate looking Metroplex. Because the first Metroplex was based on his appearance from the Fall of Cybertron video games and IDW's comic books, so...
That Titan dollar card, okay.
Yeah, but actually, if I had to choose the next Commander class figure, if I had to choose 2 of them, I'd go for Star Saber and Victory Leo. That way we could get Victory Saber.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if I had to choose a Titan class Decepticon, I'd want Death Stars to be Titan classed. I know that's probably too large, but come on.
Way too big. That's way too big.
Yeah, but I actually have my own personal conspiracy theory that I want to share with you if I can grab it for a second. I noticed in the trailer that came out for the Earthrise Netflix series, there was one scene in the trailer and it is in the show. The Decepticon spaceship, the Nemesis, it comes out of the clouds when it reveals itself for the first time. And I noticed here on the bottom of Earthrise Scorponok's box, this image on the bottom of Scorponok's box looks like one of the tail fins of the Nemesis. So I think Hasbro might make the next Titan class Decepticon Nemesis like they're doing the Ark with Kingdom. What do you think of that theory of mine?
Did they say they're not making any more Titan class?
Yeah, they said after the Ark it was done. No more Titans. They're going to do 2 commanders a year. 2 commanders a year and no more Titans.
But like, I don't see what else makes much sense. Honestly, I think they're pushing it to do. I think they pushed it to do Devastator. I think they pushed it to do Predaking, and I think they're pushing it to do the Ark. If I'm honest,
I really think if we don't get a Black Zarak, I think that's a huge missed opportunity. Huge missed opportunity.
Except like Grand Max, neither Grand Max nor Black Zarak are actually supposed to be Titan sized. Like, they're both smaller guys. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like that it's a bit more niche. Like, they kind of struggled to get Grand Max made, didn't they? Like, they didn't reach the stretch goal with them.
Well, they reached the goal. They reached the goal to make them. They didn't reach the goal.
Yeah, but they didn't reach the stretch goal.
Grand. Yeah, they didn't reach the stretch goal for Grand to have the little Pretender come with them. Right. I think they were off by like 500 or whatever the case may be. And so I agree.
Maybe they're like, it didn't work once. I don't know about Black. Although that being said, they got Black Rorichi, so I kind of think that Takara might do a Black Zarak.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get Metro Titan repainted from Metroplex.
Okay.
That was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen at Comic-Con, and then somebody at Hasbro said no one knows who Metro Titan is, and they passed on it.
I kind of wish, like, this is kind of like wishful thinking, but I would love like alternators revisited. That'd be sick.
Yes,
like, super modern cars.
That'd be great.
Maybe even do them at 132 scale instead of 124, but like it's just like modern cars with working model details. I think that'd be sick. I have a hammer now.
Well, but I feel like
I will say this. I think
like grew into Masterpiece, and that's kind of where those real cars went into for a little while until they went cartoon.
Yep.
I will say this. I think the next thing that we're going to get is Armada, because we got that great prototype of the Armada Prime, and then Hasbro or Takara, whoever won on their Twitter said, it didn't show enough interest, blah, 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 we're going to shelve it. I think that was them just showing off what was going to come next after Kingdom and all that stuff.
I agree.
I love Armada to be revisited. Armada is my G1. Armada is what got me into the Transformers, so I'd love to see the Armada line get reimagined with updated figures.
Someone told me that Armada is kind of pending based on the outcome of the Beast Wars figures.
I I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I see that.
I can feel it.
I was hoping the Commander class figure for the Kingdom line would be Striker. That way Beast Machines would get thrown into the mix as well. It's like, you want one figure from Beast Machines, let's do Striker, and then that's it. Beast Machines done.
If I can strike an Obsidian.
If you get an Obsidian,
See, that's-
you have to have an Obsidian, or if you get an Obsidian, you have to have a Striker. They're a pair. You can't have one without the other, in my mind.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of character. Those are the characters I was talking about. Like, put in Striker, put in Obsidian, give them the War for Cybertron. And, as much as Beast Machines is lamented, they did say, hey, they fought on the Autobot side, right? So that would be kind of a way to integrate into this kind of universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping we get Striker in the Cyberverse line since she appeared in the series.
Yeah.
Okay, so move on because press for time. Simple yes or no answer. Samantha, you know what? Lazy, say the name for me again.
It's I gotta find it. Smithner.
Chattery asks, what would you think if G1 was dropped for 5 years? Simple yes or no. Would you like to see that happen? George, yes or no? Yes, you would be okay with it. No, you want them to keep remaking G1 infinitum.
I want everything new, just for once.
Okay, Crimson.
No, because you'd end up dropping like the legacy, character names like Optimus Prime and Megatron, and you'll kill the brand if you don't have them.
Okay, Danny.
Everything G1.
All the time, forever. Enewtabie.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, Dennis.
No.
Okay, Input.
Yes, but as long as they kept the legacy character names like Optimus Prime, Megatron, and stuff like that.
Okay, what Input said?
Go ahead. NinjaBill.
I'm going with Input here. He's spot on the money.
Okay, Soundwave.
I agree with Input.
Okay, TFFanGeek.
No, absolutely not. G1 out of the Transformers, it's like asking Disney to drop Mickey Mouse for 5 years.
They did that. They've dropped Mickey Mouse for 40 years.
Yeah.
Is Mickey Mouse still a thing?
Wow. Okay. Okay. So moving on, stop motion, which is a topic I think 3 or 4 of you do.
I know nothing about it.
You don't know.
Yeah, I'm right there with Lazy. I don't understand it.
Okay. So starting with George, what is your stop motion process? How do you develop a story, and then how does that end up something we watch every 2 weeks on your channel?
Story review more. So the process for making the review is I sit down with a figure and just mess with it for like a few hours, and then I'll start filming it. And like halfway through filming, I'll find this really cool feature, and then my ADD brain will think, wouldn't it be funny if they use it like a back scratcher? And then I'll film that, and then and then I'll continue filming, and then like I'll find like a bomb or something, and like, wouldn't it be funny if? And then like I'll film that, and then I'll get to the end of it, and then I'll write the script and forget half the things I was doing, and the script will always come out different than how I was filming it, guaranteed, because I can't remember what I was filming a week ago.
Apparently, Dennis really agrees.
So there's that, and then editing and whatnot. And sometimes jokes end up in editing too. It's a whole the review starts as a boring film session and then just gets funnier as it goes on. In my mind, anyway, because sometimes jokes fall flat, and that's reviews. If it's a story, I'll write it out first and then I'll film it, and it's less fun that way, but it does come out a bit more polished.
Okay, Crimson, I think you do stop motion?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah. I started out with
enough, right?
Yeah.
I have 42 channels to keep in the head, so I can't remember exactly everybody doing everything. Everybody needs to change their name to blah blah blah, stop motion, and Transformers or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone follow my lead.
Input is a leader in this. Okay. Anyway, go ahead, Crimson.
So I would say if anyone was to watch my stop motion animation process, they would think that it was probably extremely haphazard, well within a dumpster fire at the same time. Because for one thing, I I have my memory is crap, so I'll kind of plan stuff out and everything. But then when I'm in the middle of animating it, I might forget what I had written or what I had thought of before, so I have to write it down, or I'll come with a completely different idea because I don't like the idea I had before. So things like that change back and forth, and you don't really realize that till once you're actually animating. But I try to come up with kind of a base story. Usually songs are very inspirational, and those will kind of like, okay, I can think of this music and that music. I'm going to place it here when this battle's going on or when this talking's going on, and that kind of starts to build the scenes for me. There are things like the dinosaur animations I do. They don't have music. They have ambient sounds, waterfalls in the background, stuff like that. Those things I'll kind of do a little bit different where, okay, I know what I want a dinosaur to do. I know what I want it to eat, but I want to see how does it move? How does it look on, from the angle that I'm at? And I'll do different things where I'll take like maybe 3 different raptor figures, but on screen they're meant to represent one. So you could have 3 different sized versions of them, but they're all representing one because of the way that you're telling that story. Yep. With Mobile Suit Gundam, that stuff is more, that was straight on the fly because I know what I want to make, but I don't have the technology, like on a very small budget kind of situation because my computer is so bad. I mean, I got Windows XP. That's how old my computer is, right? I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating.
Man, you live that dinosaur life.
Yeah, he does.
For sure. Okay, sure. 65 million years and going strong. But no, seriously, like so I am now outpacing my technology for sure. And once that's on, then maybe more effects, more, different kind of editing can occur. But right now it's focusing on that story. That's what's important to me and what kind of story you want to tell within those 2-3 minutes or whatnot. The Transformer animation I did really quick, that was for a contest by a fellow stop motion animator, Swagwave _SM. And he holds contests usually every year. And I was pressed for time on that. When I put in all the pictures and everything, I forgot the frames per second, the exact, like what I was supposed to do, and I forgot to hit Control A for the ones I needed, and it's terrible. It's a terrible animation. You can go watch it. The voice acting is amazing. Bobby Skullface did a great job. Amalthea did a great job. Takia Phoenix did a great job. Kato's Collection, who's in the chat, did a fantastic job. Patriot Prime did a great job. My Red Alert was probably really good. My Ultra Magnus was probably really bad. My Ironhide was fantastic. So,
man, I gotta check out your stuff. This sounds awesome.
Right. So, so that's the thing is like, so I had all these ideas. I had to cut a bunch of stuff because of time. And then because my frames per second were messed up, that I was like, oh no, I only have like 5 hours left before the deadline. So I went through and I fixed only the transformation scenes, because if there was anything you need to get right in a Transformers animation, is make sure they transform correctly, make sure that sound matches up. And I tried to do that. I've always wanted Ultra Magnus to say transform, or Autobots transform and roll out, and it gave me chills watching just my own work with that, because I love Ultra Magnus. All the rest of it's kind of uffy, but it's my highest watched video, highest rated video. So I don't know what's up with that, other than they love the story and they're okay with the animation not being on par.
Okay. So, Danny, I haven't seen stop motion from you, but you do take a lot of photos.
Yeah, no, I do the inserts, and I actually just use the camera, so it's not like a real photo, but then I just use the still from it. But yeah, the only thing I could say about stop motion, I have more of appreciation for it. Joining the Tales of Teletran podcast, from learning from input and seeing Crimson stuff, and yeah, seeing the time and effort it takes, it's really impressive and cool. I don't know, I'm too shaky and stuff. I couldn't do that. And then and seeing Ultra Markets, if you ever seen his stuff, like the G1 stop motion he does, that's impressive. Lazy Eyebrow stuff I've seen, like that, the reviews, like, man, that's impressive. Yeah,
thanks.
So Enewtabie, you're part of the Rejecticons. Do any of you do stop motion? I know like Kato is really talented art wise, but I don't remember seeing anybody really do anything stop motion.
I don't think we have the patience for it. Well, we appreciate it, right?
That's a huge thing.
I worked 90 hours last week, so I barely have time to do anything. So, yeah, I really appreciate it because it takes. I tried it one time with a G1 Huffer, and it took me about 5 minutes to figure out that's not my thing. It's not my lane. I'm staying out.
Yeah, your thing is taking it from robot mode to vehicle mode.
Yep, here you go. Put it on the shelf. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got halfway in the transformation, said, "Yeah, I'm done. Forget it."
Yep.
You know, I'll say that Kato, like, he may not have done some stop motion that he put on the channel, but like, you know, when he early on in his reviews, he would have he didn't do transformations, right? So he would have the robot mode, and he would like flick the robot over, and the next frame would be the car, right? So technically, that is stop motion because he interjected with that, and it did transform on the screen. So I'm just saying,
2 frames of
Okay, so Dennis.
Kato's talented.
Dennis, thoughts on stop motion?
It is a game of patience, no doubt about it. With me, it depends on what I'm working on, and it's 2 different kind of workflows. And I'm actually going to alter one of the workflows. So if I'm doing like a one-off, like when I do the It's a Very Transformers Christmas, or like when I done the Thanksgiving, or when I do the Halloween ones or whatever, like I'm just a bit of a weirdo who comes up with these ideas. I'm like, hey, you know what? This event is coming up, and it's time for me to do this. What can I do? What would be a story? And I start to piece together this weird story. It'll be a quick, short, usually little thing. Although one of the Christmas ones ended up being really long for some messed up reason, and I'll end up shooting it, and then I'll do the kind of voice work and stuff fairly close after, because how can I put this? Because it's the sort of thing I'm usually trying to do those under pressure. The Christmas one I really try and get done because it relates to the Hallmark keepsake ornaments, right? But if I'm doing Universal Collision, that's a different thing. I had 4 seasons. I have 4 seasons worth of story there that I developed about a good 9-10 years ago. So I've had that story for a long time. The way I done season 1 and season 2 was I filmed the entire season, all 13 episodes, and then I worked on doing the photo editing, which is a long and tedious process. Oh, I hate it so much. Like putting in like blasts and explosions and that stuff. I hate it so much. So tedious.
It's tedious, very much so.
Oh, so much. And I will be honest, I feel like sometimes I lose the essence of what I'd like to do with certain scenes and stuff, because I think if I was able to do something with green screen, I think it would help. I got to be honest, I don't know jack about green screen. No. Nothing. I'm a real practical guy when it comes to that stuff, but I've had those. And then the last thing I will do is I'll take chunks at a time and I will do the voice work, or, I mean, there's some people in here that have done some voice for me. Crimson's done a couple. He's my Dinobot and my Mirage. And Input is so far double dealer. I know there hasn't been a lot there yet, but so far, I don't know if there's anybody else here who has done any voices or not. I don't think so. But I find that that gets harder because I've run into the problem that the story was supposed to be. So then you kind of say like, I'll come up with the script to match the pictures. It'll be fine. It'll work out fine. It'll work out fine. So I'm lucky in that I know the tent poles that I want to reach for Universal Collision with each season, but I lose the details sometimes of what the conversation was supposed to be. And right now I'm working on the season finale, the 2-part season finale, and episode 12 is gigantic. It's so, like, I counted it. I used 302 characters in episode 12. It's insane. So it's taking a long time to do. When I do season 3, I think my plan will be to do episode, do the voice work and the script then, and then do the next episode. It might be longer between things, but I think it'll help kind of polish the workflow a little bit more.
Okay.
Just to kind of touch on before we go on about the whole green screen thing is I don't use it because it messes with your color gradients and whatnot, and it ends up looking awful. But whenever I do something like that or I key out, I will surround the figure with the colors of things that are going to match it on screen, and then I'll physically in Photoshop cut every figure out, and then it looks way more natural.
It does. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, input. I know you do not have any experience with the stop motion. Your channel name is ironic, I guess. So.
So my whole stop motion. First of all, I want to say this: if you want to get into it, invest a little bit of money. Whether you buy an app on your phone, whether you get Dragon Frame, and then you get Adobe Premiere so you can edit and green screen and do all that stuff, and you get a camera, just invest into it because taking individual photos blindly without any kind of onion skinning or anything like that is murder. Yeah, it is very difficult. And then throwing them into, say, like After Effects or Premiere and trying to animate them all that way and adjust your frames per second on it's a nightmare. So make your life easier and invest in a $5 phone app. We've all got phones, and you can get a phone tripod for $12 off eBay.
And probably for George too. I'll ask both of you. What app? Here's a good one. What app would you suggest for your phone
Stop Motion Studio?
Yep, I was about to say it.
It's $5. I haven't used it in a while, and I went back to look at it for these tutorials I'm making, and they've added a 3-stage onion skin now, which is crazy helpful when you're doing car things because you can see how many steps behind and continually line it up. When I first started doing this in 2012, I didn't have that luxury, and I didn't have onion skin at all. And I agree, it's difficult. Like when I was doing it in 2008, I had a digital camera and I was just clicking and hoping it works, and it looks rough. So like an onion skin right off the bat is your best friend for these things.
100% agree. My whole process is, so the way that I animate, and I know everybody animates differently and stuff, but I usually wait until I have voices, and then I will animate to the voices, very cartoon traditionalist in that sense. And then I will animate to the music the same way that I animate to the voices. So that way, if I have some kind of music cue that I want the characters to kind of interact with in the scene, like say they turn their head and then just like this driving drum beat starts going as soon as the fight scene starts, right? I animate to the music that way as well. I also get like these weird ideas when I'm not thinking about anything. Like if I'm going for my runs in the morning, I'll just put on my playlist and I'm just running, and then a song will hit me, or a song will play, and then the scene, a fight scene, a death scene, or whatever scene will hit me like a brick wall. Mm-hmm. I'll see the entire scene all the way through. I see every jump, every swing of the axe, everything immediately. And then I have to animate that. And then that's basically my whole thing. If you go and you watch my Swagwave competition video, that entire video was just like a Toy Story type of situation.
That was wild.
Where they just come to life, and Vegeta is upset because somebody wants to play Dijor, and he doesn't like Dijor from Josie and the Pussycats. And he shuts it down, and then Broly gets mad, and Broly, they have this big fight throughout the room. And I even stop motioned myself, which was pretty difficult to do.
It was fantastic to watch.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. But I stop motioned myself eating a sandwich, which was kind of difficult to do just because the camera angle and the computer and how everything had to be set up. But I remember I was going to do a completely different entry to the Swagwave competition than what I did. And like I said, just one morning, I'm just out there running, and I have the Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack on my phone. And the song just popped up, and I was like, "That's it." Vegeta and Broly are going to get in a fight over a boy band. That's what's going to happen. So I scrapped everything that I did. Do it.
Do you know how many skits I've come up with that way, where I'm just running down the street or something, and like all of a sudden, I was listening to what was it? That song where I had that trailer careening across the desert, like way back when. I was listening to that song one day, and that's what I thought of as and like that's what popped in my mind. It's this trailer just careening across the desert to that theme. It's like stuff like that is how comedy happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely off the wall.
What'd you say, NinjaBill?
I said completely off the wall is probably the best imaginative way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can't make comedy on the fly. Like, you can't just say make comedy. All my ideas I have to write down constantly throughout the day, and then I'll throw it into something.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why, like, Lazy Eyebrow, that's like your Overdose series. Like, for all those skits and everything in there are totally rewatchable because they're still legitimately funny. Like when Optimus is trying to figure out how to transform Megatron, and he's getting instruction from Bumblebee, and it's just like a nightmare. And it's just like, and then the trailer coming, like, hits. The music is just perfect with the trailer, and just like,
and you never know kind of which like off the wall weird ideas are going to be the ones that hit. Like, two of my most popular ones are where Trypticon tried out for the Dinobots. And that went badly. and where the Dinobots get a makeover when they go, who owns the salon? I don't remember who owns the salon, but like Scorn judges them all as like, this is terrible. Why are you doing this? Because their makeover is into Power of the Prime's Dinobots to become volcanic. Scorn is like so disappointed in them.
One of my upcoming skits, I can't remember what I thought of it, but like it's going to be a Judge Judy parody, but it's the Quintessons, and it's going to be like a marital dispute between like Chromia and Ironhide or something.
That is awesome.
That would be hilarious.
Okay, NinjaBill.
Come on, Chromia. We don't need the Quintesson to decide stuff between us.
Okay, NinjaBill, stop motion thoughts.
Well, I don't do it.
So we're moving on.
No, but everyone here who does it, Crimson, Lazy Eyebrow, Dennis, but I watch them all. I love it, great, but it's just something I know. I take photos of or images of all my collection, boards, everything. I've done it for a long time, and someone once suggested me trying it out, and I gave it a thought and said, nope, I don't have the patience for it, and moved on. So there we go, I can do it. But I love the people who look. Dennis has had some seriously, hilariously funny skits. So is Lazy Eyebrow. Input does insert these little random bits in his videos, or sometimes just from like a 30-second video that is just hilarious. Especially in his reviews, where he's talking to the figure and the figure is talking back to him. I love that. I can never get enough of it. Sometimes I'll rewind it just to watch that over again.
Okay, Soundwave, stop motion.
I try. With 4 kids, I don't have time. But
yeah,
I've done a few. I got some on my channel, but I just haven't had much time to do. It's so much patience. I don't have. My kids are taking it away from me.
You know what else I say?
Right here, white beard. I just have black hair. Ain't black anymore.
And you know what? I'd like to see what other people think of this kind of add-on to the stop motion thing. For me, I have like kept on my channel my very first stop motion, and I like the very early episodes of Universal Collision. Like they're rough, they're bad, they're awful. But people said to me like, why haven't you remastered them or redone them or blah blah blah? Because I get so many people who say I couldn't do this, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. It takes patience, but I like for people to see, look, this is where you're going to start. It's going to be trash, but if you keep working at it and keep learning, you can improve. I would say I'm middle of the road. Like, there are people out there, George, for example, better than me, much better than me. And that's fine, because I assume I'll learn more and better over time. But I feel like when people see just polished work, that intimidates them to thinking they can't do it. So I like to kind of leave some of my older stuff up there that's not good, just so if somebody would see it, they could say, wow, you know what, he was trash too.
Yep.
And if somebody can see that, you know what, this is the way you start, then maybe at least a passion for it will get them to share a story. If you got a story to tell it. Try it.
I'll say this. I'll say this right here on the Lazy Eyebrow channel. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're absolutely right.
Oh, I know I'm right.
Quote of the day.
Okay, so
Well, I
we're
feel
past.
like probably.
Oh, go ahead, Crimson,
I was
and
gonna
then
say,
I
if
need
you're
to go.
gonna do, if you're gonna do like advice or something for stop motion, and people are getting into it, one of the things is take way more pictures than you ever think you'll ever need, because you can always delete them, but you'll never go back to get that exact scene, that exact lighting, that exact everything to try to reshoot something. Just take every picture you possibly
Set the
can.
burst on every single image.
And also, if something happens in your stop motion, say your figure falls over or you camera bump or something, don't look at that as a negative. Look at that as an opportunity to get a more dynamic angle, to zoom in on something, or to just to change the angle or something. Look at it as a positive and don't get upset about it. Don't try to fix it. Fix it. You know what I'm saying?
And that happens a lot with people that when they're doing live stream and they're animating, like I know All Hail Megatron 1K, he's also a great animator as well, and he'll do live streaming and go animating, stuff will fall over. And it's like, okay, well, that's going to be a scene change because it has to be now. Because now that figure's fallen, you're never going to get back in that same spot. Doesn't matter how close to the onion skin you can get. That'll you just have to adapt and adjust to that. But that's awesome advice.
In my last video, when the Lego guy was climbing up and they were going to address all the Decepticons, and the first one turns to the second one and goes, "You all right there?" It's because the figure fell, and I just rolled with it because sometimes that just happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how much ticky tack or blue tack that you got on the bottom of their feet; they're gonna fall over.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And the majority of us, we're all using really articulated figures, right? We're trying to use Throwing 30, we're using Beast Wars, we're using Armada figures, we're using War for Cybertron. And there's a really great animator out there, a really awesome guy in our community. His name is Ultra Marcus, and he's probably sleeping right now, but he'll listen to this later. But it's Ultra Marcus, Marcus, and he uses G1 figures to animate.
That's
and it is amazing.
That is amazing.
It absolutely is
incredible. Yeah.
Okay.
I strongly recommend everybody check them out.
Okay, we're running long on this topic, and I need to. So we're past the 90-minute mark. So I need to poll the panel. Does anybody need to leave? Because if so, you can introduce your channel and social media again, and then we can move on to the next topic for anybody who's sticking around. So everybody good?
Let's do this for 8 hours.
8 hours, yeah.
Or can we continue then? Anybody?
We can continue for. I'm probably going to be the one who's going to end up ducking out early, but we can continue for a little bit more.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you're the weirdo that's half an hour to sync with the rest of the world.
Okay, so
Right?
so Lamb Man Hin wanted me to move this up, so I'm moving it up. Customization. So I know a number of you customize your figures. So starting with George, what do you do for customization? And I feel like for George, it's mostly repair work.
Well, it's always repair work because they don't do it how I want it. So I don't know if I'm good to comment on my paint work because it's been garbage for 15 years, 10 years, and everyone called it out for that, and justly so because it is sloppy. But I've gotten better. I've been getting better with the paint and learning how it actually works instead of just slathering it on and hope it sticks. And I bought an airbrush and learned how to mask properly and whatnot, and it's starting to come out better. And I've also turned to using vinyl for cars and stuff, and then just using that instead. My Wheeljack stripes, they came out fantastic. and then so that's just aesthetics. What I've recently been doing is like my 3D printing stuff. Like I've made this combo for Sunstreaker. That's the intake and spoiler. Yeah, but I designed it so it could flip around and whatnot, and do that. So it's all compact. I put a lot of work into this, but yeah. So like I've been customizing that way, just like finishing what Hasbro started because it just feels like they haven't been lately. Yeah. So I don't know. I customize pretty much everything, and that's kind of my whole philosophy is like it's not mine until I customize it.
Okay. So Crimson customization.
So I do a lot of actual customization to a lot of my figures, but most of them have been kind of minor, mostly just adding paint application here and there. Every once in a while, I've made a new character. Like I made Clampdown, which is basically Red Alert with like a black head, no fire chief on him, and kind of just more of a black and white with a little bit of red here and there cop car.
And Red Alert if he was useful.
Right. And in that case with like changing eye colors and stuff like that, like for example my Earthrise Optimus Prime, the head I don't like it. It seems squished somehow to me. So I actually took rather than the Siege Optimus, I took the Galaxy Upgrade Prime's Orion Pax head and colored the eyes white and then did a clear light blue over it, and then put it back together, put it on Earthrise Optimus, and it has more detail on the faceplate. He does have a screw on the back of his head, so in animation, you kind of got to use a different head. Now, he doesn't transform, so there's a problem there, but that's okay. I don't really transform with Earthrise Prime that often. But it's just little tweaks and things like that to kind of make the figure exactly how you'd want it. I have a Ultra Magnus from Siege that I actually got from Soundwave 8084 way back in the day when he did his giveaway, and I've been thinking about just taking some like heavy alcohol into that and just wiping away all that Siege gunk or Cybertronian sludge, whatever, and just making just a nice clean, like right off the assembly line Ultra Magnus. So most of mine are just kind of touch-ups like that. The Siege Megatron needed a ton of red paint on his elbows, his waist. I mean, he needed a lot of that tender loving care to bring him to that G1 aesthetic for sure.
Okay, so
some of that
Danny,
TLC.
customization.
Yeah, I would say I don't do it. I keep it how, like, believe it or not, I like to keep it as like just how it comes out of the packaging. I might look at the figure and be like, "Oh, back of laser paint." I'm like, "That sucks, G," and then I just roll with it because I don't want to damage it. You know what I mean?
That's life.
And I'm shaky too, right? Like I'm like. But no, and I like the inputs doing some of those fillers and stuff. I find that cool, but I don't want to like put stickers on them or anything,
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you said that in the other stream, and I was like, yeah, keep them the way they're supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, keep them. Yeah.
Enewtabie.
Yeah, I like to throw a Molotov chrome pin on some weapons, or
I'm literally doing that right now.
Yeah, I'll do that. Any 3D parts Larkin sends to me, I'll put on something. What else? I like toy hacks. I do a lot of toy hack stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I do dioramas, but haven't done that much for Transformers. I'm actually working on one for Marvel Legends. So.
Okay. Dennis.
I customize a ton. Sometimes very little, like the head of the Classics Universe Red Alert. I made it red. The blaster that comes with Full Tilt is, I think, black. I painted it white and put in inputs dye fillers. Then other times, I'm lucky enough to, I don't have a 3D printer. Gosh, I envy you people who do. But I do have stuff that gets sent to me sometimes. Like I have an orange blaster for Scorponok and another couple of things. And then sometimes when it comes to paint, I'll go full bore. Like there is my Titan's Return blur, and like there's my Titan's Return cup with 3D printed arms. So
hold
like,
on. Go back to cup. Hey, George, can you enlarge the screen?
Well, I most certainly can. Ta-da!
These arms, if you're interested in these arms, Knotted on Shapeways has a couple of different versions of them, actually.
Oh, neat.
And they work well, and they have wrist swivel, and they're beautiful. I actually dyed them. I done a video showing how you can dye plastics, and then I added the paint detail after I dyed them.
Okay.
So
I like that figure.
Okay, so input.
I customize a lot, and I mean when I say a lot, I will sculpt a new head, a new face. I will use milliput. I will use styrene. I will use paint, dye. I will sand down a figure to avoid paint rub. Anything that I can to get the vision proper. Because my whole thing with figures is if I'm going to go through all of that work, I don't want the paint to come off. You know, most of my paint is done with an airbrush, or if it's a large surface, like say if I'm doing like an entire torso, say for like Metroplex, I'll just I'll just go get like a can of white or black or whatever. What I do in that case is something really crazy that I don't think a lot of people do. I will actually get automotive paint, and I'll get like a Toyota white or a Subaru white or something like that. I'll get like a can of that.
Yeah, he and I discussed using those.
Yeah.
Oh man, that hits you where I live.
But I'll do something like that, and then I'll clear coat it with some 1K airbrush thin down kind of clear to keep the paint as thin as I can, because that automotive paint, it does come out pretty thick because it's supposed to be on a car, not a hunk of plastic. So if I'm using that, I sand down a little bit more than I typically would, stuff like that. Chrome paint, chrome pins. I mean, I customize a lot. So that's me.
hold on, before you get to NinjaBill, because I know you're going to go to him, I do have to jet. It's been a slice. It's been 2 hours, but I do actually have to jet.
Okay, so tell everybody how they can find you.
Sure. Honestly, GOTBOT. Search it up. It's pretty easy. On Twitter, I think it's Dennis Moulton 1. I think my Instagram is Dennis_Moulton_author. There's a Discord. I don't know what that is. I don't really use the thing. But in terms of the channel, GOTBOT, and you'll find it because I think I'm the only one.
Thanks for
But
attending.
I'm sorry I got to jet, but like I said, it's getting late here.
He's in the future, everybody.
Mm-hmm. I am in the future.
It's fun to meet you.
Have a great night, Dennis.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
We love you, GotBot. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
GotBot.
Okay, NinjaBill. Thoughts?
I have never customized a darn thing ever in my life. Not one thing. Not. Despite all the images of customs I've made over the years, I have never customized them. I took a while to. I don't do camera because I've got. I do a lot more customization. Then I started getting carpal tunnel and other things customized with my hands. I got arthritis in my hands, so I can't hold things as steady as I. If you don't see it in my review, or sometimes my hands are shaky, so I can't make customs as much as I used to. Sometimes I'll be able to do just a bit of talk about doing, then I'll put it on the back burner because I just don't feel like doing it anymore. But I do, and I use a lot of the same lessons that and I back and forth looking at customs, each other's customs, and talking about how we do it. I think each one of us has made how-to videos on starting making your own customs and like input in my and CrimsonRaptors. He's done quite a few customs. I've seen him. He does a great job. So let's not forget you, Sarah. Ethan one. And for me, it's not that they miss details. That's not really my concern. Sometimes making a custom is not much as fixing missing details, adding your own life to the figure. That makes sense. Bringing the figure to life for you. Like, for example, in RID 115 line, they did not issue a Thundercracker at all. And for a while, Thundercracker was an exclusive. Why, I have no idea, but for 10 years, it was always an exclusive from like the classics line on up, and I never got that. So I was like, okay, I made my own. But before that, I'd made a lot of customs. I did several customs, alternator customs. Alternators are fun to customize, in my opinion. I'm not sure how many others here, Crimson or Input. Well, Dennis made customs of those, but alternators were fun to work. They had pretty good plastics on them. A lot of fun. Unless you got if you got the car, really fun. Working with diecast is a lot harder than working with plastic. A lot harder. There's a lot more you have to do. Most people don't. Just first thing you got to do when you're working with diecast is obviously you got to remove anything that's already on it. All right, and that could be either a harder or easy process. Next thing you got to do is you got to degrease the heck out of it.
Hey, Bill. Hey,
Yes?
I'm going to interject for a sec. You're breaking up really bad, so we're hearing every other word.
Sorry, well, go into Soundwave 8084 then.
Okay, Soundwave, go ahead.
Well, I don't do anything myself, customizing. I do buy stuff from Toy Hacks and add-on parts from, like Shapeways or, third-party companies. That's about all I do. I don't have the skills to do it myself, any painting or nothing.
Okay. Hey, George, somebody asked, and I already forgot the name, I'm sorry. Where can they pick up or download your 3D designs?
So my designs are on Cults 3D, and they used to be on Thingiverse, but I don't do it there anymore. But yeah, Cults 3D, and again, it's Lazy Eyebrow. But like whenever I make a new design, I'll post it on my second channel, which is I think it's just called Lazy Eyebrow Media. That's just all I put the post there because I don't want to clog up the main channel with all the 3D printing stuff. So the Sunstreaker's not done yet, which is why it's not available. I still have some perfecting and tweaking of the tolerances to do, but it'll be up soon.
Okay. So
how come you're not on? How come it's not on Thingiverse though? I'm curious.
Thingiverse, I've just had so many problems. Like every time I log into it, it signs me out, and then I'll put my password in, and it never wants to accept it. And I just had so many headaches that I just moved over to Cults 3D.
Okay.
And Cults 3D also allows me to charge for things. So like some things I'll upload for free, but it's like for those ratchet feet, for instance, I put like a lot of work into that. And it's like I kind of want to charge something. And Thingiverse doesn't let you do that.
Cool.
Okay. So Bakuab asked, we're going to shift like quick answers for this one, starting with George. What are your thoughts on the canceled TF Operation Skyfire movie concept or World War II based Transformers in general, aside from the Bee and Hot Rod, which I think was a reference to the last night, maybe. So, starting with George, your thoughts on period piece Transformers movies?
Oh, that's what the question is. I think that would be neat, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Crimson, period piece Transformer movies.
Wait, say that one more time.
Basically, movies that take place in a past era. What were your thoughts on that, and in particular, the canceled TF Operation Skyfire movie, or anything taking place in World War II?
Isn't that what Bumblebee was, though? Like, it took place in the 80s. That was 40 years ago.
Right. So this guy's asking about World War II. Bakuwa.
Well, so I'm a big World War II buff, but I've actually not seen The Last Night. But I do like how Bumblebee was in the 80s. So I don't know. It's kind of you got to do it right with the proper stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not understanding the question though.
I feel like the question would relate to the Bumblebee movie, which takes place in, I think, 1986, 87, somewhere around that. I think it should have took place in 84, frankly, but whatever.
30 years ago, my
yeah,
bad.
but
they did 87 because the director wanted the specific song for Charlie to have and listen to for the movie. Otherwise, they would have done it 84. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So basically, the consensus is that you liked Bumblebee, so you think if they can kind of match Bumblebee with any era, it would work out fine then.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would love them to step away completely from live action, personally, but because I think the direction they're going, like if you could get a live action budget and apply it to like a War for Cybertron show, do that in the 80s, do that in, where 4 million years ago, whatever they want to do, they could do it.
Okay. Danny, period pieces for movies.
I just want the G1 timeline.
Do we consider Bumblebee G1 timeline?
Yeah, something that where Soundwave turns into a cassette thing and it's actually that time, when people use that. That's what time I want for all movies.
Like every answer we ask from you, you somehow worked it out. I just want G1. I like G1 as much as the next guy, but
I think in the future, Danny's image is just going to be an image. It says, "Just want G1." That's the answer for every question.
I really am. Yeah, I really am.
G1.
Sadly, but no, I don't know. Yeah, period pieces. I don't want two. World War II doesn't interest me. I don't know. I need something in the future would be cool. I'm so down for Beast Wars and all that. I'd love to see something like that. But.
2077 Transformer. Is that what you want?
Just imagine all the glitches.
Yeah.
Enewtabie, period pieces.
Sure, why not? I mean, you could have Warpath in there. Somebody Megatron could be Hitler's car.
No, that's Bumblebee.
I was like, what was that? The Decepticon combiner that Starscream made World War II vehicles. Why is the name blank? Is it Bruticus?
Yeah,
Bruticus.
Yeah, it's like, there you go. You already have your combiner for that movie.
Yeah. Somebody could turn into a hand grenade, just used once.
They use the bots and the GoBots for the small vehicles.
Meet Decepticon Kamikaze. He's a grenade.
Input.
I'm fine with whatever they want to do as long as it's done properly.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
that's my biggest
I agree
thing.
with input.
Too much change.
As long as it's not there.
I think this would go faster if I just put input first on all the questions. Everybody just say, I agree with input.
Not for me. I disagree with everything.
Hey, Bill, let's try again to see if we can catch you. What's your thought on period piece Transformers movies?
I think it was fine as long as I spot anything that doesn't belong.
I was kind of hoping you'd say you agreed with input. He's breaking up so bad. I'm sorry, Bill. It's horrible right now. Okay, so Soundwave, period piece Transformers movies.
Sure.
He doesn't agree with input, but he's okay with it.
I don't know. Are any of us against it? It's basically the real question.
It depends on who. It's gonna be
I'm not
really
asking
good.
you, Danny. I know what you want.
I don't believe in change.
I want $5 bills. You can keep the coins.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
We need a $5 coin here. That'd be great.
Okay, so because we're over 2 hours in, I think I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So the Peanut Gallery of all the 133 people watching, wherever it is. Does anybody have any questions for specific panelists? So I'll give you about 30 seconds for some questions to come in. In the meantime, I'm going to sing to you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to sing. Okay, so...
I've got a lovely bunch of coconut.
So we'll go around because that way we can kind of like fill this blank of time. Oh wait, Baku Up actually already has a question. Cripe. Okay. Wait, I just answered that question, Baku Up. We literally just answered that.
Where have you been, man?
Yeah, everyone agreed with me. Everyone agreed with me.
Just
Not
sum
me.
up.
Okay, so to
Why
fill
not?
the
Except
space,
Danny,
starting with George, what future video? What's coming up next for you? What are you doing?
I have no idea. It just kind of shows up and it shows up. Cyclonus. I'm working on Cyclonus. That's what I do know.
Okay, so now we have questions. Okay, so Robotato, he put a hyphen in for me. Awesome. Okay, so George, what crossovers would you like to see?
What crossovers? Oh man, that's a good question. Knight Rider.
Because I think we answered this last time too, right? So,
I think so.
Crimson
But-
crossover. Short answer.
Man, I'd love to have Knight Rider. They actually, I think Hasbro actually did try to do that, and then couldn't work out a licensing deal. To
Oh no, really?
Oh,
Because
I'm
come
sad
on,
now.
wait,
Yep.
like
Just
Windcharge.
throw
That's why
a
we
bunch
got
of
that.
money at them. Just throw a
That's
bunch
why
of
we got the
money at
X-Gen.
them. Done.
Oh, that's why I bought a third-party Windcharge. It was just to make kit.
Right, but they should also do the A-Team van or even Airwolf. They could figure out some kind of gigantic transforming 80s combiner. That would just be perfect.
Herbie.
Oh, right? Yeah, Herbie. Everybody make him a bug bite.
Danny.
Yeah,
What
with
G1 thing
crossover?
crossover?
Yeah, I don't believe in crossovers, but if I had to
'Cause
pick
it's not
one,
G1.
yeah, if I had one that got into my head or something, I would say Power Rangers for some reason.
You know, Danny, they tried years and years, Hasbro tried to get a G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover. So that technically is a G1, like, because it wasn't Marvel.
Oh.
Yeah.
They never had it around my town.
And you know what? Knowing is half the battle, Danny.
G.I. Joe.
Enewtabie crossovers.
Mask and Transformers.
That'd be sick.
Ooh, nice.
Yes,
Yeah, Mask doesn't get enough love, that's for sure.
it doesn't.
No.
It really should. I mean, especially with IDW makes it all the same universe anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, input crossover.
I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say Diaclone 2.0 in Transformers would be cool, and then I'm gonna say Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal as a Decepticon would be cool.
That'd be so epic.
Ooh.
Okay, Soundwave.
Someone said A-Team. That was my go-to. A-Team van. Or that, remember the show from the 80s, Hardcastle McCormick, that Coyote car?
My wife said Sailor Moon.
Hey
That's a good
George,
one.
check
That is a good
the
one.
queue. See Bill
Oh.
pop back in. Okay, Billy, you there?
Yep, I'm back.
Oh, you sound better too. Okay, what crossover would you like to see with Transformers?
Well, let's see. They did My Little Pony. What about Scooby-Doo and Transformers?
Oh, that's right. The Mystery Machine.
Oh, the Mystery Machine. Yes.
Wait. Hong Kong Fooey and Transformers. That curve is wild.
We talked about wacky races last time, and I would totally be down for a transforming Waluigi.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see what other questions pop up here. Oops. Macross and Transformers from Sardo. Oh, Ninja Turtles. Yes, I want the turtle wagon.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everyone wants that, yeah.
Flintstones Transformers from Fire Talks.
Oh my goodness.
Mrs. Lazy Eyebrow says Animaniacs. I'm not quite sure how we'd cross over Animaniacs. Do they is there an Animaniacs mobile I don't know about?
What if they're a combiner and they become the water tower?
Yeah.
Right?
It's another form for Soundwave.
That'll probably be an exclusive box set with the water tower.
Okay, so Lego Man said Jurassic Park, but I think the rumor is that Megatron Beast Wars will be redone to be a T-Rex.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
T-Rex.
never happen. It'll
Yeah.
never happen. Mattel will not work with Hasbro like that. I understand the licensing is with someone else, but they are killing it with the dinosaurs. They're killing it with the license. They would never let something like that happen. Plus, you know, it would be Megatron. On the flip side of it, you have Transformer fans, Beast Wars fans, that Megatron would transform into a female Tyrannosaurus Rex. So that's, you know, they're going to be like, well, I don't want to buy that one, even though really Beast Wars Megatron.
Let's not make it complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, and Curtis made a point here. Star Wars. There's just so many figures they could do with Star Wars.
Yeah, they
and Hasbro already has the license.
Yeah, didn't they do those old junky ones? Like I see that scary like Anakin in the thrift shop.
Yeah, what was
and that's where it will stay.
Yeah, I don't pick it up. Like, what is that?
I feel like there could have been a storyline with that.
The best part, Darth Vader wasn't too bad. Okay,
oh no.
Exactly, NinjaBill. Exactly.
I agree.
The lag is back. Yeah. Okay. Sardo said Metal Gear Solid. I had never played the game, so I'm not quite sure. Other than maybe Snake.
Yeah, like you could have the Metal Gear Ray. You can have the Metal Gear Rays be like a drone for Megatron that transform into like a giant drone robot. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be awkward, but it'd be kind of cool.
Unicron as one of the Halos. You get the Hound as one of those buggies, and yeah, a Halo crossover could be cool.
Lamb Man Hin said Gundam. What was the Jetfire is Macross, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, yeah, Macross and Robotech, correct.
Yeah. So I mean, it shouldn't be a big leap to do a similar thing.
Yeah, but Bandai owns the whole thing, so Bandai is a major competitor.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think Rodimus Primal did a video about that too. So
yeah,
if you're wondering why things are the way they are with Jetfire, go check out Rodimus Primal's channel for it.
Yeah, Harmony Gold
is like Bandai's cash cow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and Harmony Gold has the Robotech here just in the U.S. and North America kind of area, and they'll never work with Hasbro. They've tried to sue them multiple times. Now they can't, which is great. But until Robotech goes away, then there won't be a reissue of the G1 Jetfire.
Okay, so
they hold on to their IP like you wouldn't believe. It's like Disney.
Absolutely. For sure. And on that note, Harmony Gold is in real estate. They're not even in any kind of animation or anything like that anymore. They just hold onto the Robotech license for no reason.
Well, I mean, assume they're making money off of it somewhere.
Well, of course, but it's like that's the only reason. Like, I don't know. It's just so strange.
Curtis, I'll raise your Transor Z for Megas XLR.
Yes.
That'd be a good crossover. Yes.
That's Mighty Orbot.
Look, both David Cage, Peter Cullen, and so many voice casting happened in Megas XLR from Transformers. It's crazy. If you watch the episodes, you'll recognize so many voices in there. It's crazy.
Okay,
yeah,
so go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with NinjaBill.
Okay, so TF Addict asks, what was everybody's introduction to Transformers? We'll start with George. How did you get introduced to Transformers?
Surprisingly, it was Michael Bay, actually. I wasn't allowed to... I know. I wasn't allowed to watch any of it as a kid because my parents said it was too violent. And fair enough, that's their parenting prerogative. But when I was a teenager, a friend of ours invited us over to watch the first Michael Bay film, and I was like, this is hecka awesome. I want all of it. And so I was major into the Bay movies at first, and then TF Animated came out, and at the time I didn't like it. Watched like 6 episodes of it, and I was a stupid teenager, and it just wasn't my thing. And then I looked at Q1, and man, I love that stuff, and that's kind of where I went from there.
Hey, Crimson, how'd you get introduced to Transformers?
So mine would be through my older brother. He, like it was, my thing was like I got into Generation 2, so I'm watching it. I'm getting, like the old toys from G1. Like I remember getting the Ultra Magnus and the gift set box of the aerial bots for Christmas, and it was an amazing Christmas to have all those. And that's why Ultra Magnus, because there was no Optimus Prime in the store, that he became my leader of the Autobots, and probably maybe the reason why I like him so much as this character, and why I wish that he was the leader in the movie and not Optimus Prime. But that aside. So Generation 2 got me to be able to watch the episodes, so my brother would tell me stories about things that weren't in Generation 2, because I missed the more than meets the eye and everything. So he would use like my Generation 2 Optimus Prime I would get, and he would like tell me about like what happened at the Ruby Crystal Mines and everything like that. And so it was kind of like a good connection between my brother and I. And then it's just grown into this collection that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of figures, and who knows how much money later until this very day.
Okay, Danny, how'd you get introduced to Transformers?
Yeah, I just saw it really young. Like my family, like I guess it was only on TV at the time because I'm like 34, so I'd see it on TV. My family, I remember seeing it like 2 or like maybe 3 or 4 years old, and I remember like falling in love with it and getting some of the toys. My family was broke until like maybe G2. I got dabbled in a bit, and I loved those. And then Beast Wars as well. I got a lot of Beast Wars figures at the time because my family's company did really well. So, I fell in love with the show. I didn't really like it at first, but I ended up loving Beast Wars for the characters. So, yeah, I'm just a huge fan of that whole era.
Enewtabie.
So I'm 46. So I got the comic book, the Marvel comic book, the first 4 issues. And then G1 cartoon that had a bunch of the original toys. Mirage and Skywarp were my first 2, so like that.
Okay, input.
You're like such a baby here.
I would say G2, if anything, just with when they did the reissue or the re-release of the G1 cartoon as the quote-unquote G2 cartoon. They had that little kid sitting in Optimus Prime's hand. Mm-hmm. I watched that, and I didn't really quite grasp the idea of this is Generation 2, but it's the old G1 cartoon. I didn't quite understand the relabeling, but when it came to the toys, I understood that. They looked awesome, and I wanted them. And I bought as many as, well, I should say my mom bought as many as she could. That's pretty much the introduction for me. And then Beast Wars happened. Mm-hmm. And then I found out there were comic books, original G1 comic books, as a kid. And it just, it was just like this groundswell of information about Transformers that I missed out on as a kid because I missed G1, the comics and the cartoon and stuff. So, it was just like a lot of information all at once. And I absorbed as much as I could.
Okay. NinjaBill, hopefully we can hear you. How did you get started in Transformers?
Well, it started out with the comics. Now, I am probably the oldest person currently talking about Transformers. I'm 50 years old, so
you win.
So I'm 50, and so all you youngins here, I love listening to where you got started. But anyway, I got started originally with the comics, and then was hip to the cartoon later. But my first experience with the toys, however, is I was in Japan and had a taste of Micro Change and Micro Man and Diaclone. We all say it that way. We know we do. Every time you hear them, yeah, you do. And Input promised a long time ago to do some stop motions of those Diaclone commercials. I keep reminding him that he doesn't remember it. But
wow. One day, I promise.
You just gotta buy like 16 Earthrise Primes and just have them all motorized and rolling down the road. It'd be perfect.
Well, I need a table instead of a desk to animate on. That'd be the bigger problem.
Man, you got the whole world outside. We can animate out there.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll fix it in post.
That's your life, man.
Okay, Bill, was that the end of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Soundwave, introduction to Transformers.
The cartoon was the first media I saw, then went to the store called Hills. I don't know if I remember Hills.
Oh, yeah, I had one 6 blocks down the road here, yeah.
I went to go get He-Man. I was big into He-Man, and I saw Transformers next to it, and Brawn was my first Transformer. My mom got that because it was cheaper than what else. the He-Man was.
So my introduction was we went to my grandparents' house after school one day, and my grandparents had the largest TV on the market. It was a 19-inch floor model from RCA. You know, that big glass screen. That the TV
19 inches?
19 inches. My grandpa splurged on that TV. So anyway,
You gotta be kidding me!
so we get home. I asked my grandpa if I could watch G.I. Joe, and then all of a sudden, this was September of '84, I think it was. Then this new show, Transformers, pops up on the TV, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" Because typically Gem was on, like, or what, I don't know if it was Gem or My Little Pony, whatever. It was a girls'
Seven the
show.
holograms.
So Transformers is playing. I'm going, "This is awesome!" So afterwards, we went to, I think it was Hills. Actually, it was Hills. We went to Hills down the street, and my first Transformer was Goldbug. Because of Throttlebots. Oh, no, it wasn't Goldbug. Oh no, my first Transformer, yeah, it was Goldbug, but it ended up being like 2 years later.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
We found it in Hills, yeah. So and it was a Throttlebot. So yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So in my
You're
brain,
kinda
everything's
cheeky.
clumped together, but there is a 2-year window there. Okay, so I'm going through questions. Did anybody see anything worth?
I saw one. It was a pretty good one.
Go ahead and pull that up. Oh, Danny, TFA wanted to know Predacon or Maximal.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that was it? Oh, okay, cool.
That's
So-
tough. Jeez. Probably Maximal, because I love Tigertron's my favorite character, so I'd have to go that.
Okay. So, George, Predacon or Maximal?
I didn't watch the show. I have no idea.
Fine, you're an Autobot then. There.
Okay.
Crim
No, and I
says-
thought, okay, I tried watching like 6 episodes of that, and I kind of tapped out because every time they transform, they have to yell out their faction, and I was just like, that is dumb.
Maximize!
They
Maximize now!
they did finally kind of get rid of it, and then they brought it back. It was like more of a time,
so
you know?
dumb.
It taught
I know.
all of us their names though, so we all know their names by heart.
Yeah, so we were in the toy store. It was like,
I want to buy one of the Kingdom figures just to like do a skit with it where it's like, okay, this is one of our descendants. He's really cool and all. Okay, we're gonna transform and rolls out, and then he yells "maximize" or something. They'll look at him like, what was that? What was that?
they're
Where's
so
the
cool.
cool sound effect?
They're so cool, though, aren't they? Look at this cheetah. Isn't that dope?
Yes,
More of a
yes.
vehicle kind of guy.
Ultra
Even in real life,
clear.
I know, I get it. Yeah.
I'm not an animal kind of person.
Okay,
I'm
Crimson,
sorry.
I swear to God, if you don't say whatever Dinobot allegiance you are a fan of, I'm going to be upset.
Right?
Dinobot maximize.
Okay.
No, seriously, like Maximal for sure.
Okay. Enewtabie.
Predacons.
Ooh, different. Because you're a Rejecticon, you're naturally Predacon?
Yep. Evil always wins.
Input.
That's easy. I'm a Maximal.
Bill, what Predacon and Maximal?
Maximal.
Okay, Soundwave?
Maximal.
I'm a Predacon because I love evil Dinobot. I love Dinobot Transmetal. Like, Transmetal 2 Dinobot, man.
It's a verbal recognition,
Yeah.
so they can transform.
Like, if their voice doesn't work, can they transform still? Wasn't there an episode where somebody couldn't talk? And it was Cheetor, right?
You gotta hit the button on the shoulder.
That's got to be a skit now.
I want credit!
No,
It's like
I don't think there was
Bumblebee
an
from a
episode where
Bumblebee movie, and it's like, oh man, Bumblebee's voice box can't he can't talk anymore. And then Ratch could be like, well, good thing he's not a Maximal, otherwise he'd be messed up.
Yeah, I don't think there was an episode where they couldn't talk. There was an episode where they couldn't see, and that was Dark Void with Rhinox and Cheetor and Dinobot and Rat Trap because they were blinded by an Energon blast.
That
But
sounds like a riveting
there-
script.
Right?
You don't know what you're missing, George.
I'm sorry.
Right, but there was
it's not my thing.
Transmutate, and Transmutate had very limited vocabulary, so technically couldn't be.
I mean, I should talk. There's an entire episode where all the entire cast can't transform anymore because we're out of like Transfortomium or something like that in G1. So I mean, there's some winners in every episode, every series.
Cybertonium.
Cybertonium, that was it.
Hey, George, have you picked up any of the Kingdom figures?
I picked up Warpath and Cyclonus.
Okay, so I'm basically not going to ask you this question then.
Go for it.
Well, the question, because TFA wanted me to elaborate, he wanted to know your favorite magical and favorite Predacon, but I feel like you couldn't answer that. Are you going to accept the challenge?
Rhinox, because he looks pretty dope. He's a big rhino and whatnot. I don't know.
I relate to Rhinox.
Crimson, I feel like it's going to be Dinobot and Megatron maybe. What would you your favorite Maximal and Predacon?
Ooh, well, Dinobot for sure. I mean, obviously on the Maximal side, but on the Predacon side, I hate to say it, but I really do like Waspinator because he's an idiot.
Waspinator, okay. I do want to bring up, you posted in the chat, Predatorize. I feel like that would end up on a list somewhere where if you move into the neighborhood, everybody get your name.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. So the Predacons say terrorize, right? The Maximals say maximize. Well, shouldn't Predacons say predatorize? But that does sound really bad. So then why aren't they Terracons? Like, that would make sense too.
But isn't Ape Face and Dragon, whatever the face is, those are Terracons, right?
Abominus. No.
Yeah, Abominus Hunger and
Or is it Abominus? Okay, because there's Horrorcons and Terracons, and I always get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Horrorcons are Snapdragon and Ape Face, and those are the triple finger headmasters, yeah.
Okay, so Danny, favorite Pred and Maximal?
I guess, like Maximal for sure, Tigertron. What Silverbolt would be like close second, and then probably Megatron, because like I just like remember he looked like Barney, and I was like, that's cool, you know. I actually thought that because I was like 10 years old at the time, and Barney was still like secretly cool.
You wanted to be your friend.
Enewtabie, favorite Max and Pred?
Max probably Primal, and Pred would either be Inferno or Transmetal Megatron.
Okay,
good choices.
I just have one answer, and that's Dinobot.
So Dinobot good and Dinobot bad?
Well, because Dinobot was both.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he
Bill,
started show as a Predacon, ended it as a Maximal.
Yep.
Transformers.
Bill, Predacon and Maximal.
Well, for the Maximal side of things, I have to go with Big Convoy because he's Big Convoy.
We're going some Japanese stuff. Okay.
Wait, that's on the list?
There was a Neil.
Wait. I thought we were just doing the American Beast Wars stuff.
I didn't put a limiter on it. Blame TFA. This is his question.
Nobody said that.
Okay.
So, Big Convoy, because Input would have said Big Convoy had I not thought of it first.
For sure.
Not Leo though? I thought it'd be Leo maybe. But...
it's cool, but Big Convoy is better. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Convoy, I mean, come on, convoys are awesome. But for the Predacon side, I'd have to go with probably Magnetron.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, Soundwave.
Yes.
Maximals would be Rhinox, and Predacons for Waspinator.
Oh, speaking of, because there's a talk about Waspinator in the chat. I'm kind of like, because Waspinator is just rumors, as far as I'm aware. Anybody correct me on that? But there is a good Waspinator on Big Bad Toy Store right now. It's the Generations. I think it's Sterling 30, whatever. I bought it. It's a very good figure.
Yeah, I have that one.
It's an amazing
It have to be Beast Wars Galvatron for the Predacon side. Changing my mind.
Well, he's coming for Kingdom. He's in the artwork on the box.
See,
yes, that is a thing I know about.
Pterosaur before I got a Waspinator, because we got a good Waspinator, but we have a horrible Pterosaur.
Yeah.
Pterosaur's dope.
No, we don't. We got an awesome Pterosaur. Is this going to break down into one of those, it's so accurate, conversations, is it? Jesus Christ, people. There's an entire lore for Transformers than just the cartoon. You guys know this, right?
Because
G1.
Danni Dolphin. Danni Dolphin.
Yo, Magmatron looks cool.
Oh, you just looked it up?
Yeah,
I just did look it up.
Super dope, man.
I just ordered that from. It's like I think I'm picking up tomorrow from that CMD or whatever it's called.
He is dope.
Yeah.
I wish I was home. I could show him on. He's an awesome figure. So is Big Convoy. Big Convoy is the toy to own. Everyone should have in their collection. Input will agree with this. We for the very same reasons. One, it's a very cool. Yes, it's a shell former, but it's very, very cool. Has a lot of weapons on him, and the first ever toy, Transformer toy, to feature a removable matrix. The very first.
And I agree with that so much that I own 6 versions of that mold.
I own 2. I own the Ultra Magnus one, and of course the original.
Okay, so I'm trying to I kind of went through the questions. I'm like, should we go to another topic? I don't want. Here's the thing. I kind of want to ask about the Netflix anime. Everybody's opinion. I know George's and I know mine, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, it's fairly dark."
What does that even mean, honestly? Like,
it's kind of like you feel bad the entire way through. But well, here, let's do this. Okay, so we know May 30th, the final season will be out. So George, what are you looking forward to for the next season? What do you want to see for the next season of War for Cybertron?
See, finding out that there's 5 months in between this, like, is it 5 months? I'm pretty sure it's 5 months because it came out at the end of December and it's coming out in 5. So yeah, the beginning of June, and that worries me because I heard somewhere that all the budget is going into the last thing. But you're going to make 6 fully CGI episodes in 6 months. That does not breed a lot of hope, and I have no idea what to expect. And my expectations are rock bottom after the last 2.
So basically, anything that's good is just you know.
If it happens, it's a miracle, and I'm just like, I'll probably say that the Kingdom was like the best of the series because my expectations are real low right now.
Oh, Crimson, are you as sad as George is?
No. You know, I like Siege and it's Beast Wars. I'm not really like I don't count Beast Machines in that. But Earthrise,
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah. But Earthrise was really good because there's a lot more story, a lot more transformations in a Transformers show that I really appreciated. Especially Red Alert. Maybe a little bit of bias because I love Red Alert, you know, like, except this one he's not looking for Inferno. We get 5 Inferno. But I really do want to see, like, that the very last scene where you see, you know, the arc starting descending, and then, you know, you go down to this jungle and you see this foliage just bouncing up and down with the palm trees. And I know CGI animation, and this is incredible stuff they're doing right there. This is like last couple of episodes of like Beast Wars, last couple episodes of Beast Machines type quality, and you can tell that budget is right there in those last 10 seconds. And I hope that continues on for the next 6 episodes. But to see Dinobot walk up and move so fluidly, I don't know how they're going to handle transformations. Look, I've already given up on the voices. It's not going to be David Kay. It's not going to be Gary Chalk. It's not going to be Scott McNeil. You know, it's just not going to happen. And, you know, we didn't get Peter Cullen. We didn't get Frank Welker. And I'm not going to hold that against it, but I am interested to see how great the animation is going to look. I hope the story ends really well or leads us off to the next adventure or the next trilogy. But the only thing I am worried about is that I hope it doesn't cheapen the characters that came from Beast Wars, and I think that's what a lot of Beast Wars fans are afraid of, that it could cheapen them because Beast Wars will always be Beast Wars.
Okay. So, Danny, you've seen it, I assume. What are your thoughts on what would you like to see for next season?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, of course, because it's not 2D and it's not like, you know, I don't know. I know Beast Wars wasn't 2D, but like, it's just, I don't know. There's something off about it. It looks cheap, but Yeah, when they showed the Beast Wars stuff, if they do it right, that's what I'm most looking forward to. And I like how they showed the disc, and they had Galvatron, and they showed that, like, you know, when he was getting transformed, that, like, grid or whatever. I thought that, okay, they kind of got me interested finally. So, and then, showing the disc and that little part at the end with the Beast Wars. If they pull it off, that'll be brilliant. Because the line depends on it. What's going to happen next if people really get into this or not. So I'm excited to see, in a way.
Okay, Enewtabie.
Yeah, I saw it. I have one main thing I hope to see is when Optimus Prime says transform, it doesn't mean let's walk fast away from explosions. Let's hop on the back of me and ride away. It means transform, roll out.
Yeah.
Not walk out. He doesn't say transform, walk out. He just
don't transform and let's walk out.
I actually expect to see like a bottle episode, and for anybody who doesn't know what a bottle episode is, it's a episode made in one location, so it's cheaper to make, so they can throw money into another episode. So I expect, since they said they're throwing so much money into it, I expect a bottle episode, maybe 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they just sat on the Ark for 3 episodes of some blah 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 whatever. But anyway, input. What would you like to see in Beast Wars? Or sorry, Kingdom.
In Kingdom, well, I'll say that over on my channel that I do have an entire theory about Kingdom and Galvatron and Earthrise and all that stuff in my spoiler review. I go really deep into it and everything. But I just bring that up because I'd love to go into it here, but there's no time, right? So. But I would love to see, first of all, Dinobot without Scott McNeil is going to be a problem for me. That's just, I can get over Prime, I can get over Megatron, I can get over Cheetor, I can get over all of them not having their iconic voice actors, but Scott McNeil just needs to be a must because that is Dinobot, right? Like that's his character. No one else has ever played that character or anything else. I just hope that in honestly, because I do like Siege and I loved Earthrise. I really hope that Kingdom just keeps it going and knocks it out of the park. However, I do extremely disagree with CrimsonRaptors in the sense that Siege being the best show since Beast Wars, highly disagree. We have Prime. We have Prime. We've got animated. We've got Transformers 2007, the Bayformer movie. That's
everything but it, yeah.
But I'm just hoping that they close it off really good because it's only 6 episodes. That's my biggest concern is how well the story is going to end and wrap up.
Okay, Bill, what would you like to see in Kingdom?
Well, to be honest, I've only watched the first 3 episodes of Earthrise. But before I came on my vacation, where I'm currently at, I'm not even at home right now. I'm just, oh look, new background, because I'm not there. So I don't know what to expect quite yet, but I have enjoyed what I have watched. And of course, everybody's spoiled it by now because that 2-week period is gone. So I would like to see. I'm really interested to see how they're going to handle the Beast Wars aspect of this because I ain't see holding a hammer.
That's a fantastic question. I have no idea. I just am.
I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. Did I curse somewhere in there and he's like ready to hammer me?
Oh, no. His wife will catch you.
But,
oh, by the way, excellent moderator, so good job. So.
It's hammer time. No, I'm like input in that I really want to see. I'm not going to be particular about the voice casting. I agree somewhat with Scott McNeil being the only voice, but I can see others doing it too. I actually see the direction they're going to take it because I did love the Beast Wars series, and yes, I liked Beast Machines too. I'm probably the only one here that did.
I'm sorry.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. Look, at the time, for the period of time, bar none, no one had better CG animation than Ninja.
Yeah, it looked dope at the time. I would agree, and like, yeah, it was just
Good too.
Yeah.
And it is just
as a splintered timeline, it'd be fine.
yeah. But the problem with Beast Machines is it sets itself deliberately into the G1 era and the far future. You know, so I don't know. Does anyone remember that Trans Tech series that never came to be, where it's set in the future?
Yep.
Yeah. That would be cool. That would be cool to have to take place rather than the G1 or even Beast Wars. Have that. You know, get back to that. I know they dropped it. I can't remember why they dropped it, but we all saw the artwork and the teaser artwork that they released for it, and some of those images, like Prime's images and Fedor's images, they looked awesome.
There were two reasons why Transtech never came about real quick. Is one, the engineering on the toys was going to be pretty costly. So that's why they kind of flipped over and went to like the REP stuff and had alternators as a holdover and everything. The other thing was that they had the prototypes. They were shipping them back and forth from the offices I think they had at the time was Pennsylvania, and then the manufacturers in I think it was China, and had it literally had like the Starscream, like the Cheetor, like all the prototypes in there. They were lost by the Postal Service. And that was those were the test shots, just gone forever.
Well, Soundwave, what are you looking forward to in the next chapter?
I just binge watched Earthrise yesterday and today, trying to cram it in. And honestly, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy Earthrise. I liked Siege. I thought it was okay. Earthrise is just very slow. Just the way they.
The time, it's just the way the time passes is weird.
Yeah. And it's just I don't know. I just don't like it as much as Siege, and I really don't care about how they do Kingdom. I've lost interest.
I think my issue with Earthrise, honestly, is that after seeing the toy line, I was expecting a certain thing, seeing all the figures in like at least Earth modes, and that never happened. So that was a huge letdown for me.
Definitely, they never made it Earth to like the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, they screwed people over because they said it was Earthrise. You thought they'd show like cars, but it just meant like how they're positioned looking at the Earth in space, right? And then the toy line. Yeah.
Before the toys came out, they did announce that Earthrise took place in space, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" Mm-hmm. And no one really gave it a second thought. And then when the show came out, it's like, "Okay, that's what you're talking about. Fine."
Yeah.
Well, they had Earth in the. In the final scene, so there's Earthrise.
And it was a good way to sell like the toys in robot form. It was like a play on words. Like fans didn't really know it had kind of like led to the mystery before Earthrise came out.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to the previous question, Crimson, what do you have coming up next on your channel?
So I'm working on a stop motion animation for Godzilla. And that's proving rather difficult because it requires much more set design than I've had to do even for the Transformers one. Otherwise, I am going to do an Earthrise review here pretty recently, and I'm just kind of strapped for time, things like that. I have a Studio Series 86 Hot Rod review that I've been trying to get out the door for about a month. I've had the figure, I think, since December 15th. I ordered from DMD store and they shipped it out super fast. So yeah, I got that coming up, and can't think of anything else. Oh yeah, I'm on Tales from Teletran with Input. Right. So we do that every Saturday.
And Danny.
That's always in the future.
Yeah, what about me?
And Danny. And Triple R. I love you, Danny. I love you.
I know.
Danny, what do you have coming up next?
Not much. Just whatever. Just continue doing some like topic videos and just showing off some toys. Maybe I'll try to review one of these whatever Kingdom figures or whatever the Beast Wars or the MP ones. So without breaking it, they just freak me out. But yeah, just doing the regular stuff I do on my channel. Just lots of like topics and review videos.
Okay. Enewtabie, what's up on your docket?
86 Jazz Cup Blur, then I'm gonna do Vintage Collection Mandalorian, and then I got the Magic Square Stunticons coming.
I'm going to
Mondays.
have Lazy Eyebrow's wife destroy whoever's doing that clicking. I'm just telling you right now, it's very annoying.
What clicking? This?
Take him out! Do it, Wifey93!
I didn't know it was me. I'm just kind of playing with a lighter for soldering. I'll throw that away.
Input!
Sorry.
What's
My
coming
hands
up
are
next for
fidgety.
you, Input?
I'm feeling fidgety.
Well, right now I'm working on the script for Transformers Generation 1 Season 5, Episode 5. So that's coming up. That should be up with, I want to say, mid-February or so. It really kind of just depends on when I get all my lines back from all my voice actors and stuff like that. But until then, I will have toy reviews, some stop-motion skits, like really short stop-motion skits here and there, about maybe 10, 15 seconds long or so. And every Saturday, of course, is the Tales from Teletran podcast from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with Danni Dolphin, CrimsonRaptors, myself, and Roland Redneck Reviews. So that's what I got coming up.
Okay. Bill, what do you have coming up?
Mostly just reviews of older figs that everybody else has already reviewed, because I usually get my toy, again, with that whole distribution, blah, blah, blah. But I've got the World War II Hot Rod coming up. I've got Earthrise Rc coming up. I've got quite a few figures I've got to review. And I forget the Bumblebee I've got, Netflix Bumblebee I've got up right now. Just came up today, and I forget what else. I know I uploaded about 5 before I went on vacation, and I can't remember which ones.
They're in the past now. You're okay. Okay, Soundwave, what do you have coming up?
Kingdom Cheetor and Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron, and I should be getting Studio Series Grimlock in hopefully tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday.
Okay, for myself, in February, it's going to be a lot of Kingdom and Studio Series, so that's pretty much it. Also, I'm working with Bacon over at T-Formers. The new feature is up now. Essentially, reviewers can schedule their posts. So if you go to the the social section, you can actually see a calendar now that says what's coming up. So that's what he was working on today, and I was providing input for. So you're going to see like all my future stuff, since I actually put out videos upwards of 3 months in advance. So you'll be seeing those posted on that calendar there, and hopefully some other people who have regular scheduled shows, which is Bacon's goal, is if you have a show that happens every week or once a month or whatever, you can schedule it and it'll repeat itself, so you don't got to keep posting. So that's a feature available to reviewers now on tformers.com. And so we're about 3 minutes from the end here. So what I want to do is, starting with George, tell everybody again how they can find you and your channel, and we'll go around the table and let everybody have a chance to do that, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. So George, how can people find you?
Well, if you're watching this, you found me. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram or Cults3D or Shapeways or Facebook. Anyways, it's just Lazy Eyebrow, basically. You just put Lazy Eyebrow into anything, and if it shows up, I'm there.
Okay. Crimson, how can people find you?
Again, I'm CrimsonRaptors. That's Crimson like the dark red color, Raptors, RAPTORS. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. Those are the best places to find me, if not on Input's channel during the Tales from Teletran podcast. Danny, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me every Saturday on
Same
channel. Yeah, but they can find me on the spelling here, Danni Dolphin on YouTube, and then OMG Danni Dolphin on Instagram. That's where you mostly find me, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. Enewtabie, you and the Rejecticons, how can people find y'all?
You can find me under Enewtabie. You can find Kato under Kato's Collection, Larkin's Lair, and Startup News by 82. And I got to look at my phone here. What is it? Collects E on Twitter, and then Enewtabie_collects on Instagram.
Okay. Input, how can people find you?
You can find me over on my YouTube channel. That's N-PUT, Inputs, Toy Reviews, and Stop Motions. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Ernest P. Whirl, just like the guy who saved your childhood with a bottle of Miak. And of course, you guys can find me every Saturday on the Tales from Teletran podcast from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Bill, how can people find you?
You can find me at Shinobi Biru on Facebook, of course, YouTube at NinjaBill Reviews, and NinjaBill on Discord.
Okay. Soundwave, how can people find you?
And our occasional guest in Tales from Teletran, and I do have a show called NinjaBill Live that I do occasionally, and I gave my NinjaBill and Friends show to Danny, so now she has a Danny and Friends coming up whenever she feels like actually doing it.
Yeah, I will. But now they got more time off. We got to do it.
Soundwave, go ahead.
YouTube, Soundwave8084. It's the same for Facebook and Twitter. And Instagram is Soundwave_8084_reviews.
Okay. Again, I'm Anthony from Hasslersnet. Everything is the URL or nickname, whatever, is Hasslersnet, but you can also search for HNE Games as it is spelled on the screen below my face here. We still need about a dozen people to go to TF Reviewers. There's a space between the F and the R on YouTube. 12 more people, or actually maybe it's 15 more people subscribe, and that is the goal for this month, to get to 100 subscribers on that channel. On that channel and on our website, you can actually find all 42 reviewers and a couple of affiliates. So you can check that out, subscribe, like, follow. HNE and TF Reviewers is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Friendster, AOL, Yahoo, where's it? Google Plus. So you can find us everywhere. So now that we are actually done, thank you everybody for joining. Thanks to Mrs. George for moderating the chat.
You can call her Wifey93.
Wifey93, as she is known, I guess. Thank you for everybody submitting questions, and I'm going to drop this back to George to wrap up. And goodbye, everybody.
So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. That was a really fun 3 hours. It kind of flew by, actually. And yeah, hope to all see you in the next review, which next Friday is actually going to be a mini overload. And we'll see you all next week. This has been the Lazy Eyebrow. Hey, Soundwave, why is your superior on as tall as